Now we have to start the video.
Nishai miasa tavihina, sieta vehelami na sate haroko te veshono se, amiata viata ishena se. Maya te viana maleasha viato de viama aleaja notiara, alaja viato viato measha topaki atorosho, miata. Miasa I nayava kuapeleato, mi haviasho nia ilaketori shiana sata, piato.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu v'tzav v'tzivanu l'habak ner shel Shabbos.
Miato esha isa tiato liana malakopa tiashose. Sirodo olo umiana iti isa no se tiaki shanoso tiara. Good day, good light, good love, illuminators, way showers. Thank you. It is in once again divine joy, gratitude, and divine grace that I thank you all for joining us today as we share today on Goddess Friday, the celebration of the God and Goddess within us all, as we explore light language linguistics, the beginnings of sound and time and stories and source and our connections to all of that. How as we explore our multidimensionality through our connections through the light languages and also through our connections to each other, understanding that everything is all that is, and we are a part of all that is, and that we are connected to all that is, and we have had an infinite number of experiences, and we're all creating an infinite number of experiences moment by moment. What we understand as the past and the present and the future is not really what we believe that it is. It's all happening right now simultaneously. And it is in joy and honor that if you're new to my channel, thank you for being with us on Languages of Lights. My name is Wendy Wolf. This is my fiance, David Yellen. And today on these Fridays and every day, truly, we honor the God and Goddess within us all. We share this light with all of you through these light languages and also our experiences and the ways that we practice multidimensionality every day and how it actually changes our everyday lives, how it affects and creates the reality that we desire, how we share with all of you what we experience multidimensionally, but also how we bring it to what is our job, what is our service here on earth, what is our highest joy and excitement, how can we share this and more of these highest joys and excitements with all of you, and in doing so also sharing how all of the things that we feel, what we call permission slips, what we understand as permission slips, those things that give us permission to express and explore and share all that we really are. And whether it's through light languages, as we said, whether it's through relics, whether it's through oracle cards, crystals, incense, all of these things that we have come to understand nature itself, the elements, the elementals, our connections to all of these, how they speak to us, through us, how as I began this channel and speaking with and understanding that I too was a part of the emissaries of the light collective, that sound is light and color is light and frequency, and all of this is part of the beginning of language. And how do we connect to the beginnings of language? What does it mean to us? And as we explore these great texts that we are still, some of the mysteries that we're still unraveling, whether it's hieroglyphs, whether it's ancient texts, whether it's Sanskrit, and today in honor of Passover and my new experience with this idea and Hebrew, and I wanted to share some of my own experiences with light language and its relationship to how I feel and when I see Hebrew and how I feel all of this is a part of the language of light, the beginnings of light and time and source and the stories. And so I wanted to honor that today We invite Elijah here with us today as we lit the candles. And actually we did this all for the last several days during Passover. So I wanted to wish, what is the proper thing, the proper greeting then for Passover?
Oh, happy Passover.
Happy Passover.
Happy Pesach.
Pesach, okay. And so one of the things that, several of the things we wanted to share with you today are...
Chag Sameach also means happy holidays.
Oh, happy holidays, okay. So I grew up in a basic kind of Christian idea. So I always celebrated Easter. And so for me, now that I've met Dave and he is Jewish and we have been celebrating Passover. So this has been really exciting for me. It's been a whole new, I got to experience Seder. And so, and the stories behind it and what it's about and all of the ties that, many of the ties that we've been sharing with you in these Fridays have a lot to do with many of the things that we want to share with you today. And so this relates to also the symbols. We wanted to talk a little bit about symbols and symbolism and how that also relates to even the symbols that are, I've asked Dave before, what are the symbols on the menorah? What are they? What do they mean? What do they represent? And so all of these, I've been asking a lot of questions because I'm very curious and I'm excited and honored to share this with him and in ways that maybe he hasn't been able to share with before. So I'm very excited about that as well. And so I invite all of you, first of all, to join us here in the Zoom room if you'd like to. I placed the links to join in the Zoom room to my website right on the, there's an event page. Goddess Friday, and the Zoom room link is right there. And I've placed the link to that in both the live chat as well as the regular YouTube chat. So please do feel free to join us today and every Friday. Share with us your light languages, your experiences, your multidimensional connection stories. What do these ceremonies mean to you? What do your symbols mean to you? Your relics, your crystals, your incense, what do these things mean to you? So I wanted to invite you all into the room and I wanted to take a brief moment to thank you, all of you, for joining us today. The Wednesdays that we've done Wednesdays with Wendy before, which we will do them also again periodically, perhaps maybe even next week. So keep an eye out for that. And we'll be posting these on my website, languagesoflights.com. And of course on my Facebook page, Languages of Lights as well, which the links to this hangout are there as well. So that is one of the things that I am honored is to receive things from all of you. So I wanted to take just a brief moment before we get into some of the content that we want to share with you today. And so I wanted to thank my dear friend, Grace. Amazing Grace. I'm not sure if she'll be able to be in and out today. I was looking to see if she might be here in the chat today, but so I wanted to thank Grace. I always call her Gracie. So I wanted to share with you a couple of synchronicities, first of all, but one of the things that I absolutely love is receiving gifts from all of you and just in thanks for doing what I do and doing what we do and putting this information out. And if you're new to my channel, I've been doing this for a little over 5 years now. So there's like over 1,000 videos of which to peruse, from channeling to chakras to, I don't know, all singing, light languages, all kinds of things, and sharing my connection to source, to all that is, to expressing myself in that everything is a language of light. And so I wanted to just publicly thank my dear friend Grace, and a lot of synchronicities with this. And so I received yesterday on the 8th, and that was very synchronistic that I wanted to point out because she had pointed out in the letter to me that she wrote HHHH and 8888. So I wanted to point that out, and I'm going to actually explore that with her a little bit more. And I wanted to mention that I received it on the 8th. So, and within it is this beautiful little blue feather, which I think it might be a blue jay. Maybe Gracie, you'll have to tell me if you know what kind of bird it is. I'm not sure. a blue bird, a blue jay, I'm not sure. And if you've been watching my videos for a little while, I've talked about the blue jay and the avian collective and the blue avians for a very long time. So feathers are also symbols to us of our angels. So we invite, of course, once again, our angels with us today, as always. And the angels, the Elohim, all of the El collective, in which I was reminded to remind all of you as well that the elements, the elementals, the healing collectives all begin with El, the El collectives. And so that was part of what I wanted to remind everybody, that in our connections with nature, we're connecting with the angelics, we're connecting with the Elohim, we're connecting with the beginnings of source light, the beginnings before sound, before speech, before we created symbols as language. And so, and today we still use feathers as symbols for signs from our angels, signs from our guides. And so I wanted to share that with all of you as well. And there's a little tiny seashell in here. And now I will say to all of you too, I've been collecting seashells all of my life. There's a beautiful sacred geometry within all of nature, and seashells are certainly no exception. And so all of the sacred geometry and all of the different seashells, and this particular one also happens to look at like an actual heart. So and as she pointed out as well, and the other synchronicity I will have is to share with you guys is that one of the things we've been talking a lot about is the unicorn. We even talked about it last week, the lion and the unicorn energy. I've got a unicorn statue out here named Eclipse. And I have a unicorn deck card. And in my animal spirit guides, we pulled the unicorn card, which I'm hoping to share with you perhaps today. So I wanted to share with you this handmade pendulum that she had made for me. And Gracie, you got to tell me what this beautiful stone is. I don't know if it's a blue lace agate or I don't know, maybe even an aquamarine. I'm not quite sure, but it's beautiful. And I think, I'm not sure if that's an onyx in there, and a unicorn shell. So just absolutely wonderful. I've already connected with it and connected it to my unicorns and the unicorn collective. And so I know that it will bring all of us grace and unity. And we're going to get to that in just a moment as well, together in this idea that we really are all walking grace, and we are unified. We really are all. The one is the all are the one. We are source. We are what we call God. And this is what we celebrate every day, the God and goddess within us all. And also by celebrating all of those that what we understand as gods, goddesses, angels. And so we wanted to talk a lot about that today as well. So I wanted to just simply thank you and all of you for all of the gifts, the time that you spend with me. I'm absolutely just graced with the presence. And also I wanted to share also the sweetgrass that she also included. And she knows how much I love this. So it's absolutely wonderful. This is just another example, much like incense that we talked a little bit about last week, in that when we're burning things like this, Palo Santo and sweetgrass, we are inviting in these higher frequency dimensional beings, energies, and we're telling the universe, I want more, I'm ready for more, I want to expand my consciousness. And so when we're connecting with earth in this way, and we're burning things like this and smelling them and even keeping them in our presence as another permission slip to connect with that. But when we burn it with the intention of cleansing and purifying all of the beliefs that don't serve us anymore. Today's equals a number 9. It's a day of completion. We're at the full moon, which means completion. And I also wanted to share the number 9 symbol with you today, which is also translated into Hebrew. And today is about 9 receiving. So number 9, receive. If you can see the symbol, this is the sacred symbol right here from Sirius for number 9, and the Hebrew translations for that, which I believe also energetically alchemize and add to the frequency of this, of these symbols, and the idea of receiving today. What information and guidance can we receive today from the information being shared today about the beginning, the stories, about the beginning of who we are and why we've created these sacred texts and relics, and the 10 Commandments. It's going to be a very, very all weekend and all week throughout Passover and Easter. The energy is going to be in such that in unity. And today I wanted to share, Dave and I drink tea every day, and I love exploring his tea collection. And today, in honor of today, we're drinking the organic unity tea, and it's by Rishi, and it's absolutely just wonderful, delightful. And so every day this week, I've been exploring in celebration of Passover and just doing something new for myself every day. And so including that. So today we're drinking our unity tea. So I wanted to share that with you as well, because tea also being part of Gaia, the earth, herbs. And I also wanted to just really briefly to show the little synchronicity to Gracie that I have a couple of these little boxes around the house, and a couple of unicorn shells, one next to my bed, another one outside. So I wanted to share with all of you just that other little synchronicity, and the starfish and the ship and the sea, the idea of the sea and the water, which of course is also part of the ideas today. So all of these beautiful synchronicities that we like to help us all connect the dots and share with all of you. So please do come in. And I am excited that you guys are there in the YouTube chat. Share with you your questions. I'm going to try to keep up with looking at your questions. So, and if you do hop in, yeah, we're going to keep an eye on you guys hopping into the room here. And so I'll try to keep an eye on it too. Oh, there's Jessica. Hi, Jessica. Jose, Jessica, welcome. I'm so happy to see both of you today. Thanks for being here today. I'm very excited. And I just wanted to take a little double check in the live chat. Hi, everybody. Beverly, hi. Day of Unicorn yesterday, she says, I think. Hi, Lisa. Good to see you. Good to see you. So she says, I moved a job interview to another day so I could be a part of this today. Oh my gosh, a job interview you moved for this? Well, I hope that that's a perfect synchronicity. Thank you for that guidance, because let me just say to you guys, it's something we do all the time. Because chances are the interview is going to go stellar because you actually did move it, and it must be a better vibration. So that's really exciting. So I wanted to say hi to everybody. Oh, I love it. From California. Let us know where you're from too. I love seeing where you guys are all from. Jose, I wanted to say a special thank you to Jose for being here today. Jose was part of the weekend that I met Dave in person. The event that I did here in Fort Lauderdale, my very first light language live event, public event, I should say, live with people. And Dave was there and we got to meet for the first time in person. And Jose also was there that weekend. And so it was really wonderful that he was there and his light languages were activated. And so I'm very excited that he's here today too. So I wanted to say hello to both of you. Did you on mic, Jose, did you want to say hello? I wanted to give you the opportunity to say hello, if you want to. Okay. Well, he's unmuted, but that's okay. Well, we'll wait and see if he wants to come in and say hi. So I just wanted to say that thank you for being here, and that means a lot to us. And hi, Jessica, thanks so much. And I shared your drawing out there that from last week. If you guys missed it, check out my Facebook page. I briefly posted the drawing that Jessica did that she shared with us last week of this beautiful goddess lion energy. So for us to share and color. So I sent that out to you. Oh, Jose, were you able to speak? Did you want to say hi? Hang on, it looks like, let me see, maybe here, unmute. Okay, well, I think you can unmute if you want to. So, okay. I was just looking to see where else. Oh, I want to say, oh, okay. Let's see.
Jose says maybe next time.
Oh, okay. Sounds good. Thank you, Jose. Gotcha. Okay, not a problem. Thank you for being here. Okay, so where would you like to begin today? Thank you for sharing your week with me and your passion, your celebration, your ceremony, and teaching me things that I have felt connected to. I wanted to say to all of you all my life, and that I'm feeling deep connections to as I learn more about this. And then we're going to explore a lot of that later on too, I think.
You telepathically read all my notes and stole all my information. So I'm out of here. I'm done.
You're funny. Not true, guys. Not true.
Well, it's true, but now I just have to adjust a little bit of the things I was going to say. Because you already said them. So I want to say Happy Goddess Friday to everyone. And this week is Passover and Easter, and I have to look at my notes now. We're sort of dressed as shepherds and common folk today. And that's to show how gods and goddesses could appear as the common people, such as Moses and Jesus did in their time.
Exactly.
The angel Elijah, who is also part of the Passover ceremony and also appears in certain parts of Jesus's story, he often appeared as a common person or even as an ugly person. So it is common for gods and goddesses and angelics and those energies to appear hidden from their god and goddess appearance for various reasons. And of course, as always, we invite everyone to look up this information for themselves so they could have the fun of finding all the synchronicities and the connections. All this we look up on the internet, and we're guided to follow different threads of information. The Last Supper was actually a Passover Seder, and Seder means order. But order can also mean an order of group of people.
Yes, exactly. We were talking about that today.
Yes, and this week, masses of people all over the world are coming together, like in an order, to celebrate their belief systems, such as Passover and Easter and other such things. And a common thing for light workers, they've all heard of the 14,400 and that number. And
144,000.
or 144,000.
Right. Okay.
Some think that it represents the count of Israelites who left Egypt, which is part of the Passover story. The Hebrew Bible talks about people who have a connection to this idea should actually feel as if they were actually there.
Yes.
And the idea too with our T, just so happens, the idea of being in unity with all the people and to demonstrate the power of unity together. And that's something everybody really always is striving for, unity. The idea of feeling like you're there also invites you to sort of connect to that energy. So even if you're not Jewish, you might feel some kind of connection to the Moses story or the idea of Egypt and the people of Israel leaving, the 10 Commandments. All of those things are not specifically Jewish related. So it is possible that if you feel some kind of connection to that, we invite you to connect to that idea and allow information to come in for you. And you might find that you have
was shocked.
Visions or information that comes to you just like other information. And it's an opportunity, once again, that maybe no one ever thought of before, to connect to that God and goddess energy. And we like to talk about relics and other items. So I have a little Torah, which is part of the Jewish story after Moses received the 10 Commandments, and a Torah was also written. And what I do want to mention is that it's often referred to as a book of living light, which is the idea of light languages. And we have a couple other things that I want to show. But of course, Wendy might have a couple things to say about the concept of living light.
Well, it's something that I've learned that I was guided to at the very beginning. Well, first, when I first found Bashar, which if any of you, if you're not familiar, the symbols that I share from Sirius were given to us through Bashar, which is channeled through Daryl Anka. You can find all of the information about that at bashar.org. But at the beginning, when I started channeling and receiving information, talk about receiving today, that is what they said, that everything is a language of light, everything speaks a language of light, and that we are living light. That is what we are. And when I found Bashar and he talked about his planet, now their race is the Sasani or Shikani, as they now call themselves, as they have ascended to another dimension, I should say, of non-physical reality. And so they now had, through a process of their own ascension, through in the last 35 years that Daryl's been channeling them, Bashar's not really a him, it's them. It was a name that was given to him, meaning messenger. And I will say that even the one of the items that I received from a friend was another pendulum, and I was told the name of it was Pasha Rose. And Pasha, when I looked up some of the meanings, also meant messenger, I believe in Arabic. I believe it was in Arabic. I'm not sure. It could be another language. No, that was Bashar. That's actually in Arabic. It was another language. Anyway, so talking about messengers, but the idea was that we're always receiving and sending information, light language, light codes. We are living light, and that their planet, he said, that's what it translates to. Es Sasani, which is an E, or Es Shikani, Es Sasani, translates to place of living light. And so immediately, and my experience, as I started looking at Dave's Hebrew prayer books, I literally started feeling things happening, like the images coming off the page. And if you guys are not familiar, I do draw a lot of symbols. I've been doing this for private sessions for a long time. I share them freely. There's a bunch of them for activations. You can find them on my website under my symbols page. I have several books tons of books of them. I've shared in many of my videos. Many of it I can do with you guys live too, in some of our hangouts here. But the idea is that I felt it's like I felt the language come off the page, and like, I don't know, I hit my heart or something. It was like, I felt like the living light of the information of just the symbols, the Hebrew words, like coming off the page and touching me. And as Dave was talking about touching the story for all of us, that in some way, shape, or form, these stories that we're experiencing this weekend, if you will, and throughout the days of Passover, we're all connecting to that unity consciousness, that higher understanding, that idea that we really are eternal beings. That was so there, all of this is entwined, and this idea that we really are all light beings, speaking and living, we are living light. And everything, the things that we eat, the things that our earth, Gaia, it is living light. We are living light. And so all of these symbols and the hieroglyphs and in my experience with connecting to, I talked to Dave about that too, about like, what am I feeling? Am I remembering? Was I actually there? Am I observing that I was there? Am I feeling the collective consciousness of everything that happened there? So basically he just said, close your eyes. And he held my hand and said, what do you see around you? And I swear I saw everything. I saw as if I was standing right there in the Exodus, watching it happen, being a part of it. I was able to describe the dress, the atmosphere, what they were holding in their hands. And I don't know, I don't know these stories. I don't know the Bible. I do not know these stories. I grew up loosely celebrating this, but never really getting more than the basic understanding of what it is that we're celebrating. And the idea of crucifixion and resurrection and death and birth, and the idea that really we live forever. And but the whole idea of the living light and experiencing this, I was having emotional connections to this, and I did not understand why. I still don't understand a lot of why these things have felt so passionate with me all of my life. And then as whatever we want to call it, bringing us together and realizing these things for myself and receiving information from guides, from Elijah, from about all of this and my connections to this. And every day I learn something new. Every day I stand at the altar and light the menorah and receive something new. So I feel that all of this is connected to all of us. And it was important for me to share this with all of you. And I'm fascinated by all of it as well. So
yeah, Lisa actually asks about Moses in the Nile and wondering if there's a connection between the two. And Moses, when he was a baby, was actually, according to the Bible, put in a basket in the Nile River, which floated down to where the Egyptian king grounds were, where a servant found Moses and brought the baby to the queen, who then started the story of Moses. So there's absolutely a direct connection between Moses and the Nile River. And I did also want to show and mention, I have a picture of what would be the Hebrew 10 Commandments on stones. And oftentimes I've seen this show where the Hebrew letters are actually glowing light through the stone at you.
And we have the 10 Commandment thing too. I didn't want to forget about it in case you wanted to show it. The art.
So one of the things I wanted to point out, and let me show you a picture. So these are the Hebrew 10 Commandments, and you might notice there's not a lot of writing there. And I think it's an important point that each of these commandments are only a few words each, some only 2 words, but the ideas that were built upon these few words were perspectives people had at the time, ideas that they had on what they should mean. Scholars, continuously, probably still today, talk about them and what they really mean and how they apply to us today. But it's important that everyone realize that the 10 Commandments, which is such a important part of so many religions, are really just a handful of words that have been created into books and books and books of information describing what somebody at that time has determined that they should mean. And maybe even perhaps people that are interested could look at what would be the Hebrew words. And if you can't read Hebrew, even better, because you don't know what they mean.
Right, which I don't, I can't see either.
What is the connection you have with it? Because this could be just a key to connecting with information and frequencies, just like other light languages and symbols that might mean something perhaps completely different than what we think. So I invite you to do that. And of course, you could look this up on the internet as well. And I also wanted to follow that with, after the 10 Commandments, there became the Torah. So I wanted to taking this out to show, opening it to show.
It's so beautiful too, if you guys could see it up close. And it comes in this little box that it looks like a cabinet, but we actually have a cabinet.
Is a little miniature version. And this one is not actually written on parchment, but the real ones that are really expensive.
And it's actually scrolls, a scroll that opens up.
Handwritten on parchment. And I'm not going to open it up today just because it takes a little time to show, but I do have a picture of what it looks like if you were to open it up. And I want to show that.
And even the cabinet that it's kept in, what are the symbols
So,
on the front of the cabinet?
They represent the 10 Commandments, each letter.
Each letter.
Aleph, Beis, Gimel, Dalet, Hey, Vav, Zayin, each letter.
Thank you.
So this is a picture of, if you open up the scroll, the writing inside it. And the interesting thing about it is, of course, it's Hebrew, but if you were to notice, there's places of writing and places of no writing. And sometimes blank areas in the writing don't really make sense. And, you know, in a book of Words of Living Light, these could be symbols and activations and keys and another form of light language, as everything is a form of light language. But if you notice, there are blank areas. One of the traditions of creating the Torah are that the scholars and the scribes who write them have duplicated it exactly the same since the very beginning. Every letter, every space, every dot, everything that's there. And they have teams of people that make sure that they've done it correctly. And if there's a mistake, you have to start over, because they write it with a quill and ink.
Oh,
And so it's a big deal that you're very sure that everything is done properly the first time. And that's very interesting. And the idea also of languages of light sort of brings us to the next thing, which is
such a funny synchronicity.
the Rosetta Stone, which I believe is the only still existing thing that has a bunch of different ancient languages all written on it, telling the same story. That one of the languages people understood at the time, and they were able to use that to figure out how to translate other ancient languages. And this is sort of a picture of the Rosetta Stone and part of it, and sort of a close-up of some of the different writings. The top you could see is hieroglyphics from Egypt. And a lot of that looks a lot like different light languages.
Sure does. Looks a lot like what many of us are writing now, doesn't it, you guys?
They're hieroglyphics, and they're what might be Sumerian underneath. I'm not sure. But the symbols and the squigglies and the languages that you see.
It's very interesting how many of us all over the world, and I was just going to show you just a couple if I had some in my book. Oh, here's a couple that these had come through, which I shared, and they came through as, I think I shared these with you guys before, we kind of determined, or at least we're feeling that these were Atlantean of some form. But the point is that if you can look at these symbols, how many of us all over the world are receiving and writing these symbols and sharing them all over the world. And I've been doing this for many years now, and people use them as permission slips, as activations. And I'm able to somehow tap into a person and receive is the word, receive symbols for people to help them connect to their own multidimensionality. One of the biggest questions I get, which I got again yesterday, is, well, I don't know how to read those. I don't understand how to, I need to learn how to read light language. It's not like that. It's not like learning how to read Hebrew or writing even Sanskrit, because there is a direct translation, if you will. Light languages isn't really like that. And as my guides have said, which I've shared several times, even one symbol, for example, as Dave mentioned with the 10 Commandments, even one symbol could be a string, a paragraph, a song, a sentence, or an entire Akashic record, for example, of an entire civilization. Some of them have said to me, this is the story of our ascension. And just by you looking at it, you receive our story. You absorb it, you feel it, you receive it. Even if you don't even know the details of it, you're getting it. So that's how I feel even when I'm looking at Hebrew. And it was interesting because there is a prayer book within it and called the Song of Songs. And I saw the name in English, but I first saw felt the energy from the pages. Then I looked it up to see what it said, and it was called the Song of Songs, which turns out to be this wonderful story, which I'm hoping that we get to share one day with all of you, because it's something I would really love to explore because it's awesome. And so, but it's a beautiful love story. But it was the fact that I felt some emotions when I put my hand on the page that I didn't understand. And that's when we began to explore it a little more. And then Dave kind of looked into it more and realized what the Song of Song was about and its relationships to King David. And so it was really exciting. So, so that's one of the things that it's more about feeling it and what do the symbols mean to you? How do they make you feel? And they're, as they keep telling me, the gifts that keep on giving, meaning every time we look at them, it's a different story. It's a different feeling. We receive different codex information, which codexes is a whole nother thing that he and I were talking about, which is very interesting, how that actual word came into play with even in the ancient stuff, right?
Yeah.
What we were talking about.
Well, the Torah, some people think is a codex, which, you know, might also just mean a puzzle of information that when you figure out how the puzzle works, more information becomes revealed. So a lot of people say, well, there are certain numbers that you associate with certain things. And if you count the letters every, 24 characters, you underline that letter, then you create new words.
Yes.
Sometimes you superimpose pages over other pages and you see what comes out. There's all kinds of things. But I think mostly, just like other light languages, there's a value to just looking at it. And
yes.
It's a permission slip. So if you want the permission slip to be, I don't want to have to read this whole thing. I don't want to have to translate it all. I want to look at it and just allow the energies of the information to come to me.
Yes.
Downloads could come, information at the right times will be revealed to you. And sometimes I think if you think of a puzzle that's complete, and then you take out little pieces all over, but you leave the rest where they're supposed to be.
Right.
Sometimes the light languages that you look at, the symbols and perhaps even the Hebrew letters, are trying to fill in those missing pieces.
That's a good way to put it too.
Even though you might not know what it means, it fills in the puzzle.
Yes.
And then that allows more things to come in and happen.
And I was reminded too how we talked about the spaces and the places where there's pauses. Yeah. And I was reminded what Jessica just said too about in the side chat here, in the inside chat about music and dancing. And you can tell somebody about dancing, but you can't unless you're doing it and feeling it, or like music, same thing. It's different when you experience it. But I wanted to say about the spaces, because one of the things that we've talked a little bit about before, and one of the things that I've received and Dave and I've talked about at some length, is the idea about the space, the pause, the void, the pause between the space between the breath, between the intake and the exhale. There's magic there. There's like this place. It's almost like a space in time, as it sounds silly, but it's like this space where everything exists and nothing exists. And it's almost like you have access to everything in that space. And if you think about a symphony or any song, or even light languages, this happens a lot in my own light languages, and I'll give a few examples as well. But when we hear a beautiful piece of music, oftentimes there's silence. We have literally in music, you have a pause, a rest, right? You have a rest, you have a space, you have a, what is it called? The circle. It's an actual It's a pause,
The rest.
a rest. And so and it'll tell you how many beats to take that rest. Is it 2? Is it 4? Is it 6? Whatever. So, because it adds an element to the song that if the pause wasn't there, how many songs do we know that transitions to a different chord but there's a pause. And those of us who have songs memorized, for example, even any song, rock song, you have it memorized. Well, you know right when that pause is going to be, don't you? You know exactly when that thing's going to pause, and you know the crescendo or whatever that's going to happen after the pause. You know exactly when the pause is going to end. So you're waiting for it because you know it's part of the song. It's not that there's something wrong in the song. It's that you're waiting for that pause, that breath between, that's the space between the breath, the place where you're appreciating the whole of the song and the pieces of the song. So it's kind of like that idea too. And so we had talked about the spaces in the Torah and how they're purposely, left out, and how, again, light languages, as Jessica mentioned too, they touch the heart, they're through the heart, they're absorbed through the heart, and through our light beings, our light bodies, and it fills in the spaces. For example, if we ask for guidance for something earthly, we're on a relationship, a job, maybe things right now, the way that things are right now, there's a lot of people in just questioning, changing their lifestyles, questioning what's going to happen, how is this going to change their lives? And actually much of it is to show us how it's supposed to be changing our lives. So, but the point is that we're asking for things all the time, whether it's peace in our heart, whether it's guidance, whether it's how to move forward on something. So light languages fill in those gaps. They fill in the spaces of, I want to say, the spaces in our consciousness that help us actually connect to our multidimensionality, to other aspects of ourselves, to other experiences, as we talked about earlier, other experiences that if we let ourselves imagine ourselves in that circumstance, we really can view it, remember it. It's not even remembering it, because everything is its own universe, its own reality, its own, we call things different, we call it different eras or times, but they're its own universe, and that universe is happening right now. And we're actually able to tap into that, and the information and the guidance and the information that even was learned through that particular experience. And light languages help bridge these gaps. They're almost like this etheric bridge, if you will, that help us connect these aspects of ourselves. But it's not just the aspects of ourselves that we're connecting to, but we're connecting to that place where we understand everything is possible. All information is accessible to us. And I was reminded, actually, how would I do with it? I was reminded that I didn't get to share with you guys a couple things about the unicorn and the lion, excuse my reach here, that I wanted to share with you last week. And I think I'm going to start with the unicorn, actually, because of the unicorn shell and the idea of the what we talked about, we explored last week about unicorns being, and lions and unicorns actually being on the coat of arms, and on the English coat of arms. And so how we're still using these representations. Hi, welcome, Beverly. Good to see you today. Thank you for coming. And that it reminds us that we're connecting to all of that. And so it was interesting because the unicorn card, which I'll show to you guys, and actually we just had our full moon, which our Native Americans call the pink supermoon. And because of the pink flowers that emerge in North America in the spring during this time. So that's how our Native Americans, which we're going to be getting, we'll be talking more and more about them in coming weeks. And so in our backyard, we've been taking, and you guys may have noticed some pictures that I took of my own unicorn and in the full moon. And so all of this pinpoint energy, this higher energy, all of us are focusing like the unicorn's horn, focusing our energy, especially now at this time of the full moon, which also represents completion. And so asking ourselves once again, what is it that we can complete in our lives that can give us a different focus into a more higher dimensional representation of ourselves, in that we can take that and focus our energy. And I love the spiral too, because I feel we were talking about the crystals. Also, Dave and I were talking about the crystals and how the focus of the laser beam of energy. And that's how I feel with the unicorn's horn, that it has this focus of energy representing the human collective right now that we've never had before, really, together all at once, all at the same time, because it's how often is it, and I'm trying to think of an example other than, well, where all of the entire globe is being connected and affected in ways that it never has before collectively. And what is it that we're supposed to be honing our energy in on, in our focus? So I was going to read some of the notes in here too, in the side chat. The unicorn, and here I'll let you guys see the book too. Reconnecting to higher wisdom or divinity. And isn't that what we're talking about today? Connecting with our divinity. This entire weekend, all of this, we're all connecting to our divinity. This is what the teachers of the teachers, the masters, all of them were teaching us. You are gods. You are me. Don't follow me. You are me. I'm just an example of which you already are. You already have the power within you. And the physical representations of things that we're exploring on these Fridays are simply archetypical representations of this higher divinity. It's different, as it reads, it's difficult to see, hear, or think of a unicorn without immediately questioning if it's real. And isn't that what the question, the age-old question is God real? What is it? What is it? That is the one. I don't think that any person has ever not questioned, is this real or is it not? Though many of us grow up with, I would say, we were taught a certain way and then taught to not question that way at all. And yet it was, I would say, Jesus himself who was questioning everything. That is why he went on his vision quest. That is why he was who he was, because he questioned everything. And others who questioned what they were taught were being asked to explore perspectives, and he understood we were more than what we were taught. And perhaps, so it says, did they ever exist? Perhaps long, long ago, The mind answers maybe, or it could be, or no way. This very contemplation explains our relationship with divinity and encapsulates our wavering belief in the unicorn. We wonder what divinity is. We wonder where our intuition comes from and if we can really trust it. We think about a higher power and our mind hesitates between yes, no, and maybe. Is it male or female? Does it have a name? Is it just a feeling? The unicorn card appears and wakes us up to curiosity about the higher self and the divine. It is a card of questioning, exploring, and contemplating the inexplicable. And I'm even reminded of Buddha. He did the same thing. He sat beneath that tree, just contemplating all of this and exploring the inexplicable, questioning everything and finding peace within that everything. The mind's eye, and we were just talking today, Dave and I were talking about the third eye and connecting the third eye and the idea of the unicorn connecting with our third eye. The mind's eye knows there is something beyond our day-to-day lives, a deeper dimension to our experiences. The mind's eye reaches and reaches and reaches out to grasp the page, to grasp something more. You are the unicorn and you have begun your quest for the answers. And I love that Jessica's here too, because she loves unicorns and exploring that idea. So anything that you'd like to add or pick up from there on that idea? Or any questions in there? Hi, Gracie. Thank you. Thank you for my gifts. Thank you so much. Got my sweetgrass here?
We showed them to everyone.
Yes, we showed them earlier.
Wendy was very excited.
Yes, unicorn energy. I love it. I love it.
Well, since because of Passover, but also every Friday, part of the ceremony that we do is we say a blessing on wine called Kiddush to usher in the Sabbath. And I always invite Elijah and the other angels to partake in the wine with us. And especially now with Passover and Wendy asking so many questions, it appears as though Elijah has some things to say. So I wanted to see if you wanted to give him some opportunity to say hello.
Oh boy. Well, nothing like on the spot or anything. Of course, so as soon as I start, I feel as soon as he says that, I start feeling light languages coming through. Of course, then I just want to drink my tea. No, I don't know. Can't guarantee anything will come out in English.
Doesn't matter.
Grace says it's 11:11 her time. I just saw the post. So thank you for sharing that. That was absolutely perfect timing, because probably just as you were saying that. So Misata Kishina Seva Uniata Ikiasha. I guess Ranger had something to say there too. Yativishana I ana paotabe ilamianama kite sisasana pala I tabakoa. Naviama ile evakotea ni intiasha ni mana tiavakolea kotaveshe. Sebutoriana meata ilaha liamarokia dintariesho. Aliasha toriami tarahaila makaya shoso. Makaya tariasha nitera ima ita ishanotoro kumba ishna seteaka. Nekaliana iboloko terashe iama malia toroko. Malakai hashiana mala ilajiania balakotarevasho. Mibaliana malakopa atea. Savashono tu ipayana niato ola. Ola alayana naviatoreki. Sebashono dia shoyavahi.
Shoyabahia Namayato Vashanite Vashanati Atoroko. Pia Vashanate Bahema Yavarako, Nianamalato Vishoku, Maivala, Ivashona Vishnate Terako, Piata de Visheana Angeliandro Yada Kisaveshe, Elohim Aliabakubaleana Niatarabahuru Sheatu, Hamati Sete Shea Namalako, Seto Yamaliamanotu, Piareshe Sayenu. Mayavakia Roshia Bakurmela Elea Malaketea se Sevashuia Leawahi Lihumaya Wahumaya Vakuhama Atayosho Migaya Taviano Diava Koseva Moseva She Tayanda Vakea Sevashona Via Ete Sevashona Viala Hala Malevoku Viabe Seatori Se Eshe Siake. Miasoveshe toya mayavi yanua yevarua savasho miabatea tua. The colors of Elijah. Miave hesetiano mayavako yaha diavakoa, green of the heart, biavoshe, blue of the throat, aviasa ayahanate, of the third eye, higher vision, higher wisdom, higher understanding. Viasonate, Giavasonate, Kiatarashea, Nyamahala. You are now being asked to reach in to your heart more fully and more responsibly, more clearly than ever before. To release the truth within you, that you may see from the divine perspective. Which is your core, your yavi se your light. Eva etabashano sevi inava ko me avali naina maroko. Shiva shone eva hinama eva wapelea nani tea. Sevashono deva koteve so iana dea toreveshono deva kwabakea. Sevashono siva shoa me avashono deva no. And the representations of Gaia, Diavodia Maki, Diavoquia, green, Davo Sevashanotavia, blue, Obakia Sanasevashanoteva Goya Hanana, Ezavashanotavia Halo, Miavatira Kura, Biafashona, Sevasonatia, I Hanata Kielu Fashanotovia Hanana Kopala, Zetore Shanatiana, Ia, Toyasha, Hi, Avosho, Diavako, Miato Veshe. Shinabiana diana maya tayahana nanava kopalase. Sivoshona dia. The breath connects. Nyava oya masanana. Without the breath. Mia oa hanaka. Vyashono sevashono sevi koemarito. Mahai shanosi vache. Mia davashono sevihyana. Yaso, the heart cannot speak. Tubake sanashete evako. Buha shanasita via nonavatupa, Yavoka, Yavokania Shito Piasa, Sietoriana, Ahana Dayavako, and when the heart cannot speak, Me Omatea, Me Shoa, Sivotoria Senesiato I Nanana Kiawa, Ohanu Mia Pasote, Mia Ia Nanoakua. You cannot see the divine within you, but Oya, or in the eyes of another. Miavete asono beani kavishno seya yamayu vakoshe vakua mahala kumeavaso. Yasho yama, the presence of compassion and the presence of divine, diaboela kasana, ayamai kiavasono daveshe, are yani of love, maopa kiatasha, of connection, of receiving from each other. Yahuhane are stronger than ever before. Miama sete bahama, luma pukoya dikianania sotavia sholama kedosa. Yatuya, Yanoa, look to the breath of the trees and the blues of the skies and the waters. Sivashanotiviana malava mamarapo atekiasana sete anamaruayana. Yanuma satatia. This simple act reminds you of the connection to your divinity. Mizavishanote vikia dubai anadala kopala kopasana setaliana nakwa yahamayada alahinava kosana. Listen to the song in the trees. Niabashanava iananama leatoviano maka. So yeah, and you hear your own breath, your own heartbeat. Navasameteva ko amaya naniatu, the mother. Kiaboshonoteva shunase. Ihano koapa sunabasha. Misate kiana base. Sibu ziva sheyana yatawahana. Se toihami kilavato. Mahanana koapala hesense. Sevashanose siyato amika. Yevashua ya seeing, witnessing. Baheva koshana duvahilaka. Zivashano belehevako, the birth of a new beginning. Viano Maria Fashonovia Hatea Yamawa Henevako Ha Yawa Hiva Doyama Kia Voshono de Vialaina Vico Sejana Zivashono de Angelia Tavoko Payavashetea Sivashoni Jabaro Kiavasho Ihaluko Peseto Doku Baleana Ivasona Veshe Yahiana Niatu Ubagola Shanasea Satakeatu Ayana and the white Kiabashona Te Bashua Ahavakushana, Diashonotea, Diatuebe, the lightness of the cloud, the white of the feather, Yavohamatea, Kielushumeteva, Vesavasana, Yanoa Yesho, reminding you, you are Yatu, vapor, Yahiavakia Lavasana, you are breath, you are light, Gyavasomajevatonia, you are the rainbow, you are the prism, Vyavaobakela, Yveshanotevekuaya, Leava sona de viasho, iaye shanase, kiavasho, iani deva kuala, ivashono divala maliavo, liava koshanase, sivashanotea, and your living light grows, viashome devekia, boha, me fashiono, stronger and brighter, ivasona vashonete, as you reach into your hearts, yavo kuavia shanase, Sianatea ia fashiono se becopiada she iaia sanasete alaku via zovashana se atia ia haruma ela hevashano se ki la vasono se iatoye shea shepherds of the light amoeva ko sevashun for yavoshana deva guama so deva ku piatea showing the way yaboavia nunamada kobeakea illuminating with your love. Maya vokoahe shanase. Yetoye nai tiavo seva someva koabe shanandua o seva shanasi tiai tivo yama wa ani naya nanavakote urushatiau mavoa kia gayatoreshe. Yabea elajate seva somatea vijuniaro moro e geranteauto. Beate, beate kia. Sevashonoteva Ishu Yananakwa Sevashuaya Sa Kieto Ayasani Setia Kiavosha. Gratitude Kiavo Emoshu Piava Abasana Sevasonataveshana Sieto. From the eye of the divine, Diabo Amasataveshaya Naniwa Mia Tuayasa. We receive and send gratitude. Imobaya tradishono teveke. Yasenase for your expansion of our experience. Yinabiya nuvaku mirusha. That of all that is. Yaposumishi nayapuku. Yahite so sinatiluku yabasha. Miatea ishanaseta. Miati halayasa mahalaya noveakana se amen napotea namaste kyabasha.
Oh, what a beautiful message.
I was reminded, thank you. I was reminded of the conversation that we had about Gaia. As a celestial being, she has chosen to experienced herself as a celestial being. And she actually, well, through, I don't know, our conversations, through meditation, through vision, I saw she was explaining, and we were discussing how she also, as we do, and I never really received this perspective before until yesterday, that she's also having, where we also create billions of multiple realities moment by moment, she too, as a celestial being, is creating herself. She is also creating billions and billions of versions of herself moment by moment. And as we are witnessing these, and as we're witnessing these births over and over also, as but we're sharing, we're sharing each of those with her, and we are experiencing each of those versions with her, because that's also part of what we desire, our design we have chosen to, is to simultaneously experience that with her. And as each of these simultaneous versions, as we're moving through all these, we're moving through them with her. It's a relative experience. I don't know how else to put it. It's a relative experience. We're having it together. And we were talking about how she actually is herself creating all these versions of herself in her own ascension process. That's what you said, I think. That's what spawned the whole that's what spawned the whole vision. Was, you said to me, she is having her own ascension. She's having her own ascension. And we're just like part of it. We're sort of, I mean, I don't want to say inconsequential, but I mean,
assisting.
But assisting. So it was a very interesting perspective because of what you said. And it just spawned this whole interesting message about her, and that I guess myself, I had never seen it that way before, that just as we are, so is she, and she's having her own ascension. I'm like, of course she is. I'm like, oh, okay, now I get it. And then she literally was showing me the vision of all of these earths and how each version of ourselves is experiencing each one of those. But we have to understand that version that we were 5 minutes ago, and her, isn't the one that's right now, that we're experiencing together right now, because we've all ascended with her. So we don't remember what it was like 5 minutes ago. So this is what we're trying to, this was from a much higher perspective, was given this idea and this vision. And I was like, oh my God, I've got to tell everybody about that. So it was interesting how the message from Elijah and the Elohim and the emissaries, how all of that came through. And I was reminded of that, of the green and the blue and the colors of Elijah, because not 5 minutes before we went live, I was putting the candles in the menorah to light, and for Dave to light. And all of a sudden I heard, what are the colors associated with Elijah? And I ran to Google and I checked it, and it was blue and green. And it was green and blue, in that order, green and blue. And I was like, instantly downloaded this message about the green and, the heart connection. And I have done videos about that before, about connecting with the heart and the throat chakra and the third eye. So it was very interesting how those colors then were in the light language transmission. I was reminded about that vision of earth and green and blue, and then our conversation. So I was really happy that, well, see, I might have forgotten, had you not prompted a message for coming through. So much for being on the spot. So
well, also the heart and throat and mind, that the chakras and the energy, part of that is how you connect the heart to the mind. So the mind isn't running the show, the heart's running the show.
Yes. And I'm looking at Dahlia Rose's comment. Have anyone else experienced extra throat chakra activations for a couple days? Oh, yes, absolutely. I had a big breakthrough today, speaking my truth from the heart with firm clarity to my community. That's what we're talking about, you guys, to my community. So do you see how that brought it down to earth and was enabled her to actually have to speak her truth to her community? And that's what we're talking about here, about creating this new community, and speaking from the heart. And I do, if you guys are interested, I'm sure I know I have at least one, but several, I think, light language activation videos that actually specifically the emissaries talk about that, about the connection from, and the Syrians too, about that connection of the heart, the throat, the third eye, about that when we're speaking from the heart and moving and living from the heart, we automatically see things from our third eye perspective. And I have to say, really, we live that way. You live that way. I mean, it's interesting how we talk about inner work as humans, but Dave and I don't see it that way. It's a living work. Maybe that's a better way to say it. Our inner work is our living work. It's every minute. If I'm doing or thinking something that isn't empowering, and I'm not saying that we don't have moments. Oh, I have moments that are less empowering.
No, you don't.
But
No.
But the thing is that it's about becoming aware of it. Is that the spiral I want to go down? Is that what I want to think? Do I want to? And as Abraham says, if you're not familiar with Abraham Hicks, Esther Hicks, I'm deeply connected to that idea of Abraham. And so the teachers are the teachers, all of you, all of us, if you're watching this video, if you're tuned in, you are them, you are part of the teachers of the teachers. That is the way it is. That is why you're here. So 17 seconds. We humans are that goofy. We have 17 seconds to think about a disempowering thought, and the ability, we have 17 seconds to decide, are we going to let that one disempowering thought take us in a spiral that's going to take us that in disempowering, that is going to create realities we do not prefer, or right then and there, we have the ability to remember, we have the tools and the permission slips we need to change that mode of thinking. Even if it's going to have a cup of tea, going for a walk, how many times have we been told, well, I was told by my parents, think before you speak, take a deep breath, sleep on it even. So we're taught to pause. We're taught to listen to the quiet. We're taught to listen to our hearts first. We're taught to listen to our guidance. Think before you speak, that idea. So it gives us pause in that moment to think. And now we've even talked a little bit recently, and because I've had people in my own experience, in my own family say this to me, where they've had their own experiences from trauma, where they woke up saying, I want to live my life asking myself, what would Jesus do? Okay, so if you're having a thought, a belief, and so you can, insert Jesus with anything you want. Just an example, guys. So insert whatever word, person you want, should be you, should be your higher self. Let's just start there. But what would Jesus do? What would he think? What would he say? And what would your inner God say or do? What would your angel do? What would your guide do or say in that same circumstance? That is you talking to you. That is your higher self, seeing it from that higher perspective. And so in that moment, I had a realization. Well, nope, that is not exactly what he would do or say or think or behave. So then I can have a pause and say, I'm not saying that that we are not allowed an experience of honoring that moment of that thought, but is it actually the thought and the vibration that you want to continue the next moment? Because if every moment is new and every now is new, and we're creating infinite versions of reality moment by moment, what version of reality do you want to choose? What do you want to create based upon the vibration that you just chose. Because I can assure you the difference will be whether or not you miss the garbage man or not. You know, stuff like that. You know what I mean? Stupid stuff where if you're not in the right vibration, you're not going to, you know what I mean? It's just, you're going to miss it. And I don't know if we want to share that story today, but there was a story that we always think about that talks about God and sending the ship 3 times and they don't listen and they don't listen. And so it's kind of like that. It's like we're given guidance all the time, but we also have free will. We can listen or not listen, and we can choose whichever way we want and create the reality that we desire. And it may very well change our entire life. Creation. That's how we create our own reality. That's what we fail to realize that's what that means. We create our own reality, meaning the people, the jobs, the circumstances, all of that, being in the flow and hitting all the green lights, getting the parking space in front, that kind of stuff.
So it's sort of funny, just going back to one other thing about the English language and other languages and languages of light, how Elijah starts with an EL.
Yes.
As do many of the other
yes,
angelic names.
That's true.
But oddly, in Hebrew, his name is Eliyahu.
Yes.
And there maybe someone needed to hear it in Hebrew, I'm not sure. But typically in Hebrew and Jewish culture refers to him as Eliyahu Hanavi, which means the prophet. And the prophet means a very connected, smart person, a seer, someone very wise, typically connected to God. There's a Jewish song that's sung on Passover.
Oh, that's right. Is that the one you sang today?
No.
Oh.
I sang the Seder.
Oh, okay.
Song.
That's right.
So there's 15 items that you're supposed to do in order to celebrate the Passover, and that's referred to as Seder. And that's where I remember that the word Seder in Hebrew means order, and
that's
we
right.
sort of had that idea that maybe there was a metaphoric meaning more to order than just an order of things you do for celebrating the Passover Seder. So it's really interesting.
Very. It's funny how we talk about linguistics, and this is one of the things that we like talk about is in the idea of linguistics that we as humans and from the beginning of language, if we actually look at a lot of our words in English, or the derivatives of words, even in Latin, Greek, that we start to realize these are breadcrumbs. We've been leaving ourselves these words all along to teach us who we really are. And so I always find it fascinating how the language itself, we start to see from a different perspective why we chose those words that we did. Is there any blessings or songs that you would like to share about Passover? I know you knew I was going to ask you that, didn't you? You don't have to, but if you'd like to, I think that maybe the reason I'm getting that idea is because I feel like there's a vibration to it. And of course, Elijah is pretty excited about that idea. See,
well,
put him on the spot.
So I bet you there's an awful lot of YouTube videos singing the Elijah song, but I'll sing a little bit of it.
Okay.
Just the start of it.
Thank you.
And this is how it was taught to me, and it's probably pretty similar wherever you find it. Maybe, there's a rock band version or something, or a punk version. But the traditional way that I learned it was Eliyahu Hanavi. Bi, Eliyahu Hatishvi, Eliyahu, Eliyahu, Eliyahu Haniladi. Might have messed up the last word. But that's the beginning of a song dedicated to him. And it's also part of the Passover prayer services and also some other Jewish service prayer services. They would sing that song. Eliyahu as an angel is probably one of the few angels specifically mentioned in the Bible, but also part of Jewish life. So, of course, we invited him, and I say him because he's typically referred to as
a
male.
him, yes.
But we invited him today, of course. But traditionally, he was such a wise man, and he was one of the few angels also that appeared in human form. And typically when you had a problem or a question that nobody could figure out, you would wait for Elijah to come so he could solve the answer, solve the dilemma.
Okay.
So one of the reasons why in Passover, you specifically invite Elijah to come to your meal is because there's a question about how many glasses of wine you're supposed to drink during the meal. And because no one's really sure, should it be 4? Should it be 5? Should you drink until you're drunk? Nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
So the tradition is you set a place for Elijah to sit, and you give him a glass of wine, and you physically go and open the door and invite him to come in. And when he comes, you'll know how many glasses of wine to drink.
Oh, okay.
So, it might also be you're waiting a long time to see him show up, and you're drinking the whole time. And then the question's answered. So sort of like how many lips to get to the
center of the lollipop.
But obviously Elijah does like it when you invite him. And
yes,
we try to do it all the time.
So
and all the ages.
So yeah, so whether or not, these are exactly, it has nothing to do. This is the one thing that I wanted to say to everybody about my own background is that when it came to like religion, if you will, I guess for me, it was because I did see everything from a much higher perspective. So for me, it felt really limiting, like that it didn't allow for all that is. And so I kind of, and one of the things I think that I loved about the things that you've been sharing with me and just about, I guess, as a Judaism, is that it is about celebrating and honoring all that is, like every single thing, like, and every moment and every day and every act and every way. And it's what I believed all along is just what we all should be anyway, that we should be honoring Gaia and the food and the hands that prepared it and all of the chain of events that happened with it and all of those things. There's blessings for water, and there's every night when, as I mentioned before, every night at dinner now, and this is something that even growing up, we did, prayers at dinner, prayers before bed, but they were very general. And this offers me a new perspective of literally identifying, even learning about the Seder plate and understanding what's on the plate, why do you eat it, what is the story behind it, and explaining it and actually doing it while he's explaining it. But this idea of doing it on a daily basis of, we really do like hang out with our crystals and hang out in our teepee. And I light the candles in the altar every morning and light the incense. We light the incense every day. And
set our intentions for the day. And it's not that we're perfect people. It's just when you set the intention for the highest possible developments and versions of ourselves and the people we interact with and the best circumstances, handling things in the best and most honorable way, in integrity, speaking from our hearts, things like that. It's not about being perfect. It's about being grateful. And even now we're being asked to be really, really grateful for the things that we already have around us. And again, the experiences that we can have with each other, communicating in a different way. And yet back to the idea of showing reverence for these things every day reminds us that when we walk outside and walk to your car or go to work or wherever you're going or not going these days, you know, how many times, you know, you got your keys in your hand, you're worried about what you're going to do. Do I got all my stuff? You walk to the car. Do you even look at the sky or the ground or say thank you or the grass or the sun? How much of our day is spent unintentionally? And that's what I love about gratitude, because it gives you this intentional focus of, if I understand by being grateful and humble, yet understanding I am here to experience everything, all abundance, everything good I can have, everything is waiting for me. There is not one single thing that God source does not want me to have. And then we can move into that idea that that is how we're supposed to be living. We're supposed to be abundant in joy and equal to each other, and because we are. And the masters saw all of each of us as an equal part of the puzzle. And yet how each of us help each other find our puzzle pieces, and the reflections that we are to each other. Is there anything, I was looking at the notes too, is there anything else you wanted to add on that too? I don't want to keep it too long. How are we doing on time? So we're a little over an hour. So, and I did want to remind everybody, if you wanted to hop in, the link to join the Zoom room is on, the links are on my website, on my Goddess Friday page. You could just click right there. The link, the Zoom room link to hop in the room is right there. If you guys want to hop in, please do. A lot of people are still learning how to use Zoom. So there's a lot of information out there about how to use it, but really you just download the app, hop in. It'll let us know that you're in the room. We will let you in the room so you can talk. And also for the controls for Zoom are at the bottom. Typically they're at the along the bottom. If you hover your mouse, you can see your mic and all that setup and everything. So so please do become familiar with it. If you'd like to join us, we really are excited about you guys joining. Hi, Ivy. Oh my God. Hi, girl. I didn't even see her hop in. Thank you for being here. I'm so glad I'm glad to see you here today. Does anybody have anybody in the room? Does anybody have any comments or anything hi, Beverly, I wanted to say hi to you again too. Anything that they'd like to say or share today about their experiences this week? I see a lot of people are going through a lot of stuff. I see a lot of synchronicities. Hi, Amran. I'm really excited to see you. Hey, Jody. Here, I'm gonna hang on.
Well, one thing I did want to mention too is in this master's class that we're having, our goal is not to give you the answers. Our goal is to help you find your questions and let you figure out your own answers.
I like that. I really like the way you put that. That was really good. That was really good. I really like that a lot. That's.
So, you know, of course, we want to share our perspectives on things and talk about things, but the goal here is really to bring out your own God and Goddess energy and ask your own questions and find your own answers, because the fun of it is finding the answers, the journey.
It is. You are absolutely right. And that's in any
teacher teaches us, just like the old saying, feed a person a fish, they eat for a day, teach them to fish, they eat for life. Well, that's kind of what this is about. So it's about nobody can give us the answers. The answers are always going to be in here, but we can reflect things back and forth to each other to help us, as Dave said, and as Bashar says a lot, and many of our guides say too, it's not necessarily that you're not hearing the answers. Maybe you're not asking the right questions. And we talk about that a lot, about how sometimes we don't actually even ask the right question. Sometimes we're afraid of the answer. I'm glad that you brought that up, because every good guide will always lead you right back to you. That is the whole point of it, is a good mentor, a good guide. That's something that I love doing in mentorships with people, is bringing them back to themselves and reminding themselves of their own power. It's not about just dumping light languages, activations on people and go, okay, here you're activated, or you can go heal or do this or heal some physical ailments. It's about teaching us that we have our own power of self-healing. And I wanted to mention too, a couple of synchronicities. Gracie says, and that's what she wrote on the page on the letter to me, HHHH 8888. Healing humanity's higher heart. And so I wanted to put that out there. That's what that was standing for. Healing humanity's higher heart. And so thank you for sharing that. I wanted to put that out there too. And that, did you say an H is the eighth?
Is the eighth
letter.
So I think that's why she put the
and
eights
this, with the eights under there. So I wanted to point that out as well. And people have been commenting in this. And she said the pendulum she made is Larimar blue stone, obsidian filled with peridot, and then the blue jay feather. And she did say, hold it up to the light to accept the healing higher heart. So
I think the Larimar is associated with Atlantis.
Right? And I think you are correct. If you, I think that is true, Larimar. And it's funny because I think I did a video on Larimar one day. I need to, so that's something too that we like to share in these Fridays, that I like to share too, is about crystals and stuff. And so I think I'll add Larimar to the list of things to talk about next week when I get my crystal book and stuff together. So I'm being guided to talk about Larimar. So thank you for that. And also there was something else I wanted to mention too. Oh, people have been talking about picking up blue and green crystals this week. So I thought that was very synchronistic. And then there was something else I read that really quick that I wanted to, there it is. There it is. Gracie, once again, talk about synchronistic. So shortly before, we're outside getting, just doing backyard stuff and getting things ready. And Dave says, hey, there's a dragonfly out here. Well, you guys, the pendulum has a little tiny dragonfly on it. I've done bunches of dragonfly videos, and the dragonfly, which I probably won't have time to look up right now, but look up dragonfly animal totem spirit. Just Google it. I think there's messages for all of you out there. I've done dragonfly videos, and I will in another video coming up. Maybe I'll just do a separate video altogether. But if I don't, I'll do it next week, and we'll talk about the dragonfly energy, because right before we went on, not one, but two. Wasn't it green?
Yeah, green with yellow stripes around it.
It was a green dragonfly, two of them. And then I took a picture of it. It didn't come out very good. And part of it was kind of red. I'll post them. But I couldn't believe it. I was connecting with it, the pendulum, and I had taken a picture of it, which I posted, I think, on my Facebook page with the pendulum hanging over the unicorn. And then it was shortly after that that the dragonfly came, and I took a picture of it. So in the chat, she said, great, amazing. Grace says, dragonfly removal of disillusion and reflection. So removal of disillusion. So it's interesting how when I'm hearing when we remove, when we have a disillusion,
disillusion of beliefs and patterns and things that are no longer serving us, we are actually able to more clearly see our true reflections. And I kind of feel like even partially that as I'm hearing it with the dragonfly on that pendulum, and I've actually taken pictures, you guys, of blue dragonflies, lots of blue dragonflies. So the blue Larimar on there is also very interesting because of the blue dragonflies and the dragonfly collectives. And even when my friend Bree, who you guys, if you're new to my channel, my friend Bree and I, we had been doing for a little over 6 months, I think, Wednesdays with Wendy. We were doing light language hangouts on Wednesdays, which we're still going to do periodically. But Bree got really busy. Love you, girl. And so we kind of shifted our thing too. And Dave and I wanted to do Goddess Fridays on Friday for lots of reasons, which are in some of our previous videos as well. And but Bree also did a video at my house with dragonflies and the blue dragonflies. So there are messages for us, you guys, in nature. Everything has a message for us. So green dragonflies, blue dragonflies. And isn't it funny? Here we're talking about green and blue energy. So Elijah here again, that idea of the heart chakra, connecting our heart with our voice and to be able to see a new reality. All of this stuff has been coming to us. And it was interesting too, how even in my book, I was reminded just now to share with you guys about about sacred geometry and how the synchronicities I was showing Dave today. I actually wrote this down back in June of 2013. And then it looks like again, oh, wait a second. Are you kidding? What? Okay, wait a second.
I recognize that number.
Okay, I didn't even realize this, you guys, as I showed this to him earlier. Neither of us caught it. I wrote these notes in my journal, I like call my Ascension Bashar book kind of thing. When I very first found all of this and Bashar and everything, I started taking a lot of notes. The dates in here are 6/29/2013 and August 25th, 8/25/2013. August 25th just happens to be his birthday. Also happens to be his father's birthday, I might add. So, which I felt important to say. Love you, Barry. Very interesting. When I wrote this, and Bashar talked about the space-time antenna. He talked about the Tesla coil. He talked about the Merkaba. He talked about triangles. And as we look at the Star of David as two triangles, one inverted over the other, which is the symbol for our Merkaba. And also and when I looked at it, I saw the hexagon in the center of it and the 6 points and the 6-sided star, but also 6 triangles surrounding it. What I didn't realize, and it also says that it's bigger and more powerful, and that it is a peace portal. And I literally drew the Star of David. And look, 8/25/2013. Now I didn't meet Dave until July of 2018 and didn't meet you in person until August of 2019. And actually August 25th was his birthday, a week after we met. And that is a very synchronistic day for both of us. Birthday wishes were made, let's just say, and came true.
Yes, they were.
So
and life is a celebration.
Life is a celebration. So as I wrote, grand sextiles that day, age of Aquarius, birth of a new moon, birth of a new earth, blue moon, life is a celebration, new earth energy, dare to be you, I dare to be me. So you guys get to see a little glimpse of my personal old journal that I don't really show very often. So that's a very special thing. And so very interesting how all of the synchronicities that we share with each other. And I love how when you guys share things in the chat, when you come in these hangouts, when you share stuff with us personally on social media, you guys can contact me directly too on my website.
There's a contact page on there. It goes right to my email. So I love it when you guys send me stuff. I'm happy. Jody, Jody Reiki Media 333 hopped in the hangout today. So Jody and I are going to be doing something here soon. And maybe we might even be doing it. We've been planning some time here, so we'll let you guys know. So I'm going to be having Jody on my channel here, and we're going to be sharing things that she does. Hey, Jessica. And I'm going to be sharing things that she does. And she has been really wanting to put herself out there and sharing her divinity and her goddessness and putting out her Reiki healing out there in a bigger way. And so I wanted to talk to Jody. I don't like to use the word following, because that's not how I feel about that. Sharing my journey for a very long time and commenting and sharing her synchronicities and commenting on my videos and just general love, support, compassion. And so one of the things I really love to do, if you watch some of my old videos, I've done tons of live events and had lots of people on who, just like you guys, who come in our hangouts, they just hang out and then all of a sudden realize, I want to be a teacher in a big way. I'm scared, or I don't know how. I'm afraid to go on YouTube. I don't know how to talk to people on camera. All of these things that now is old hat to them. They're off, they're teaching, they're doing live stuff. They got YouTube channels. This is one of the things I love doing. This is one of the things, like why I and my guides called it the languages of lights, because it's about all of us. We all speak a language of light. We are all a universal. We are all a verse, a universe, a verse in the entire symphony of Source. All of us, we're all reflections of Source. We're all Source, God itself, having an experience through us. And so when we do this and we connect to each other, we are teachers of teachers, empowering each other to go out and teach. It's about becoming it's not about becoming who you are. It's about recognizing who you already are. It's already there. We talked about the lion and the Wizard of Oz and everything that they wanted, they already had. It was already there. They just didn't believe they had it. So helping people become the teachers of the teachers, because we are the way showers, you guys, all of us, we're the illuminators. We're lighting the way for the next generations, not only the next generations, but we're going to be skipping about 1,000 or 2 years in the ascension process with this idea of generations. And we're going to be human, a different kind of human, experiencing Earth in a different way, doing things differently. So all of us that are in these rooms, these hangouts, that looking at this stuff anywhere on social media, you are a teacher, you are a guide. Even if you're just going out in the world, being you, doing what you do, you don't have to be on social media to do it. But the point is that if you want to, and you would like to explore this more and want to get your feet wet, this is the place to come. This is the place to hang out and do it. Talk, put yourself on camera, tell people what you do. Tell people what your website is or what your YouTube channel is, and let people know who you are. That is one of the things I'm really excited about doing. Many of the people that you guys have seen in my hangouts over the last 5 years are out there doing this now. Dolores, so many people who have been active, Zinnia, Ivan, Jose, all of these people are now out there, speaking light language, sharing. But even if you're just doing what you do every day, whatever that is, it's about the vibration that you bring to that and the intention of your day. So today is received. So I just wanted to once again show, I did copy these into my book. My very first thing I ever did in this journal was write down pretty much these symbols. So I'm just reminded to all of you, whether it's these symbols, whether it's your own symbols, whether it's looking at my symbols on my channel, whether it's creating your own, whether it's looking at Hebrew, Sanskrit, maybe it's looking at the emerald tablets. Last couple of days, which I didn't even share with you, I've been hearing Alexandra.
the Library of Alexandria. That's a whole nother thing. Alexandria, that's a whole nother thing that's I've been guided to explore, which I just heard now came out of nowhere. So apparently somebody needs to hear that as well. So there's something about the tie to all of this ancient writing. And we have the Ark of the Covenant, which we talked about a little bit, which we'll show you guys another time, but that's one of our relics that we have as a small relic replica of the Ark of the Covenant, which inside, do you want to talk about that even a little bit about, but it's the 10 Commandments, a little 10 Commandments is inside the staff, Aaron's staff.
The staff of Aaron
And
a
the
jar
manna.
of manna.
Which the reason I brought it up was the manna was what fed
The Israelites,
The
in the desert. And I want to say oddly and by coincidence, but we know that that doesn't exist. But one of the stories we read about Elijah had to do with him meeting a woman that needed some help, that he ended up somehow giving her manna to help feed her and her family. And that's the only other time I've ever heard mention of manna in any other context other than being given to the Jewish people wandering in the desert. So I found that was very interesting. And how all of a sudden, out of nowhere, we're talking about Elijah, and one of the relics in the Ark of the Covenant is manna, and Elijah happens to have something to do with asking God to provide
the manna for everyone. So that was one of the other reasons why I wanted to mention that too, is that one of the things that we're exploring here on these Fridays is about these things, about relics, and how we keep it on the altar, and even when I'm lighting the incense and I'm looking at, and the Ark of the Covenant, we even talk about, Indiana Jones and all of that. So we're going to get into all that too and other things, but
I'm sort of reminded.
Yes, go ahead.
To mention about the idea that even in hard times, you never know who might be standing next to you in the grocery store or at the bus stop or
it's true,
wherever you might be, because Elijah likes to be incognito. And
that's true.
Just when you think you might need something and there's no way for you to get it, like food, a miracle happens and manna is provided and your family is fed. And it was all because of some guy that you didn't know was Elijah showed up to help you.
Well, and I'm glad that you mentioned that too, because this is also a time when we're being asked more than ever to move in integrity and kindness and compassion. And that's a very good point. You never know who's standing next to you in the grocery store or wherever you may be. And maybe we're having a moment where we're perceiving that particular situation or condition in a less than grateful or favorable manner. Maybe we're talking in a way that isn't the way we would like to be remembered as we leave the room. Maybe as we move out into the world in these times of being asked to see things from different perspectives, that we remember that we never know who may be standing next to us or listening, watching. How many of us have talked about that, about Santa's always watching, the angels are always watching, God's always watching. And so very good thing to remember, that the angels do come to us, those that have the ability to become in physical form. And we never do know who may be standing right next to us, observing what it is and how we're treating our fellow humans. So maybe that's something to remember as well in this weekend. And in this weekend in general, we're all going to be identifying with peace, the idea of peace in our hearts, compassion and love, of the understanding that we do exist forever, that we are gods and goddesses, that we never end. And as Abraham Hicks says, you can't get it wrong and you never get it done. And we always will be. And this is just a very small piece of who that we are. This human experience, it's just a very small sliver of the multidimensional pie that we are,
And
Crystal.
It's sort of funny because I see Bree.
Bree? No way! Bree, oh my God, she's in the chat.
Hi, Bree.
Hey girl, I miss you so much. Hey, please do come in anytime you can. I know she's so busy with Awake TV, you guys. So I took a hiatus from teaching on the Awake TV because there was so many other things that Dave and I wanted to explore, and our schedules have changed. And so, but Bree's really busy with Awake TV. So, but I'm good. It's good to see her. And actually, Bree, that's so synchronistic because I was going to see if you were busy next week, if you wanted to do a hangout together and maybe with Jody and I. And so, yeah, I'm so happy to see you in the chat. And so, of course, you are always welcome to join in and hang out with us and do what you do best.
Talk about angels showing up out of nowhere.
Talk about, she says she's in between meetings. She's waving from Wisconsin. So Bree's up in Wisconsin, Milwaukee, Wisconsin area. And just to remind you guys, Dave and I are here down here in the Fort Lauderdale area in Florida. So if you're in the South Florida area, or even if you're not and you want to fly down here, hang out with us, sit in the throne, do a hangout with us. You guys, if you guys want to come and do a private sessions with me, even with us together, that's something that I kind of dropped the bomb on him about a little bit, because I was getting guidance, and I feel from some of your guides, and Elijah included, that I've been reminding him that there's a lot of things that he does and says every day that he's literally channeling information, and sometimes he forgets that too. So I was actually guided probably by Elijah yesterday that said, you know what, maybe there are things that the two of us may be able to assist people with that maybe just one of us wouldn't necessarily, or maybe two of you, couples maybe. So just something I'm throwing out there that I know he's looking at me like, oh boy. So so not to put you on the spot, dear, but that's call to service and all. So it's just something that I was guided to. So, and if you guys are not familiar with me or my channel, languagesoflights.com, I do all kinds of stuff, services, readings, oracle readings, one-on-one stuff, pre-recorded things, pre-recorded sessions, pre-recorded videos and audio, light language activations. I do consultations for people who are starting to speak light languages and maybe drawing symbols, don't know what they are, what they mean, maybe you want to share them and don't know how to share them with the world. Maybe you're not sure, maybe you're a little timid. All of these things we can work through. I've done single sessions and I've done mentoring sessions for months at a time. So, and everything in between, creating physical written symbols, things that we've talked about lately about activation symbols and creating symbols just for you. And that's something that I automatically already do in a private session. And actually, when I met Dave, that was one of the things that all of this information was flooding in. And one of the first things I saw when I was meditating on his energy before we even met was the Star of David and King David and many, many other archangels, for example, all of these other ideas that now that once after we, had the chance to get together and talk and then meet each other in person and then correspond after, all of these things have pretty much come to pass, if you want to look at it that way, linearly speaking. But every single one of them was a deep synchronicity. And so very interesting how all of us are evolving together, raising each other's vibration, we're each other's reflections. So if there's any way that I or we can be of service to all of you, any of you in any way, we love doing these hangouts. They're free for everyone to hop in. You're always welcome to donate to my channel if that's something that excites you, if that helps you feel giving back in a way for the content that we provide that's always appreciated. I love the gifts that I receive, but the gifts of just being with all of you and spending time with you and doing private sessions together and watching all of you. Oh, and I've got a tone in my ear really loud. So if you guys ever get tones in your ears, a lot of people have asked me about that and talked about that. Dave gets them a lot too. I get them in both ears. Sometimes I can tell it's like a connection to my guides. Maybe I'm receiving information from my angels or Elijah right now. Maybe it's light language activations for me to share with all of you. Sometimes it's the ET ships. We don't talk about the ET stuff a lot, but this is a whole nother thing that we're connecting with all realms and dimensions and realities and everything in between. So it's everything from source and everything. So right now we're in this time of ET and ETs and disclosure and talking about first contact. And so we've got that as a whole nother thing, and hybridization and hybrid children. And what does that mean? And what does it mean when you give your DNA, and why are there ships and children waiting to meet us? And why are we speaking all these light languages? So there's all kinds of wonderful things to explore. And they are looking to us too, the children on the ships and the parents, and they want to meet us. They want to talk to us, but we have to meet each other, right? They can't come this far down. We've got to raise up our vibrations in order to be able to hang out and meet each other in the backyard and have tea with our ET friends. We invite them all the time. Dave and I invite them all the time. Come and have tea with us. They like it when we invite them into our dining room. What are you having for dinner? What are these colors? Why do you guys like this food? What can you share with the children? What kind of games did you play as a kid? Why did you not play as a kid, and why are you exploring your inner child now? Jessica Drew talked about that a little while ago, and she lives by that, about exploring our inner child, being fun, being spontaneous. So all of these things come into play. So these are the things we like to share. And there's always so much content, so much interesting things we want to share. I never even get to half of what I want to tell you guys. So in that, I like to do more videos and light language stuff too, and do more card readings. So as I am able to too, I'm on the channel. I like to do just spontaneous oracle card readings. So, and that's one of the things I invite all of you guys to do too on these hangouts on Fridays, is bring your relics, bring your stuff, bring the things that tell a story. Maybe you've got stuff from ancient stuff that you'd like to share, talk about light languages. Maybe you draw symbols. Maybe you'd like to offer a blessing for people to share with the world. Bringing your crystals and bringing them to activate, and Reiki. That's another thing. Physical healing, sound healing. How do the light languages I do help people physically heal? How do they help you learn to physically heal? How can we use Reiki and crystals and light languages and oracle cards? How can we bring the messages all together into a comprehensive session? How can we as individuals and collective communities go out there and do this for our community? Maybe and now is a good time for those of you who are looking to get into this idea of studying Reiki and healing, and that idea. Just take this time to explore this stuff. Study it, if that's what you want to call it, but explore it, meaning having fun with it and playing with it, and looking up your animal spirit guides and hanging out with crystals and sharing that information with other people. And yeah, there's a lot of people out there doing this stuff. So, but don't let that discourage you, because your vibration is your vibration, and you're going to reach people who maybe I'm not going to reach. And plus, there's different time zones and different places all over the world. And one of the things that Dave mentioned earlier, and that I wanted to reiterate, and that we've talked about, is that over today and this weekend, and in general, if all of us are intentionally doing this work, if you will, and sending gratitude and love, but especially this weekend, hour by hour in time zones across the world, as you're sending out your prayers and doing these intentional things, and celebrating these ideas, the collective energy behind it is insurmountable, and it collectively changes, as we've mentioned before, It changes the resonant vibration of the planet itself. It helps us connect to her. And now that I've been given that perception of the earth, Gaia herself, going through her own ascension. She's going through her own ascension just like we are, and we get to do it with her. That's never been done before. There is never anywhere in creation that has ever had this opportunity to where an actual celestial being and a race of beings get to experience an actual ascension together, an ascension of moving into a whole nother dimension in space and reality and frequency, and how all of these things tie in. And so I was looking to see too if there was another card I was guided to pull for you guys, and these are from, this is actually from the Angel Answers. And I think right now, many of us, as we invite in the angels today and this weekend, and many of us right now are looking for answers from our guides and angels. And so as we kind of wrap up the day, I'm going to shuffle the cards a little bit. And I did want to give anybody an opportunity here in the Hangout to say hello and speak if they wanted to, give any blessings. Hi, Beverly, go ahead. Yep, I hear you.
I just wanted to ask you a question.
Oh, sure.
Because this is all kind of new, I don't really know what I'm experiencing or what I'm not experiencing. This week, I've been reading lots of posts about how this is a glorious week and the full moon and the pink moon, blah, blah, blah. And I found this a really tiring week. Oh, so tiring. I mean, I'm not at work. Yeah, I feel like I've done a month's worth in a day. And vibrations in my body every day and every night, in particular at night. And this humming. As soon as I lie down, I get this hum. It can sometimes be a high pitch, but it's a hum. It's like the earth is talking to me.
Well, I would say that that's what's happening. The earth is talking to you. I would agree with you that even Dave will attest that I've been inexplicably tired. I would think that with all of this energy and things going on that I would be not that way. But I have been. Even today, I was inexplicably tired. This week has, and what I will say, you guys, is I know for myself, and Dave has had experiences, a lot of us have been sharing our dreams with each other, even people, friends of ours, and even the nurse that comes to visit. Oh, geez. Okay, well, I guess that card just flipped out for a reason. Ask for help from others. Well, there you go. You're asking for help from others. And just now that card flipped over as I'm talking to you. So I'm like, okay, I guess that's partially for you too, Beverly. So ask for help from others. And here we are asking for help from our guides. And I have been so busy in my dream state at night, in my astral state, that I feel exhausted. Like I'm home too. Yeah. I can't explain it either. And it's not like I haven't even been, my sleep, even when I'm sleeping longer hours, I still don't feel like, I feel like I should be awake and refreshed, and I'm not.
Yeah. I found it really hard this week, and I have had a couple of not dreams, but things come through. I think I saw, well, I know I saw like a kind of a human face, but it was more cat-like. It was definitely cat.
Interesting.
That was one that I had to remember. I sort of woke up and thought, I need to remember that. Lots of other faces, but nothing that I can, but very much, I could have been in Star Trek.
Yeah.
You know, lots of faces that you can't really say are human.
Yes.
But I don't see them very clearly.
You want to tell everybody about your dream when they asked you that question? It just happened.
Go on.
Yeah, I was with AJ and we had to go to,
In his dream.
yeah, go to a hospital, and they wanted us to go for some kind of weird checkup or something. And we didn't, there was no good reason to go, but we went, and it was filled with people, and some of them were sick and some of them weren't, but it was sort of like a big gigantic auditorium filled with people, and there were people there asking me if I was human. So of course I said no.
And he said no.
So that was sort of the dream. You know, what exactly it means, we're not sure, but
Yeah. Well, yesterday, yesterday was, I don't even know if it was today or yesterday. I'll tell you, time again. Time is just like, you know, don't know what day it is. Saying about the dustman. Oh, well, I missed the dustman because I got the day wrong.
Well, you know, that just
Really?
that happens, you know, you just.
I missed it.
I must have told Dave, what was it, 3 times this week? I said, why do I keep feeling like today's Sunday over and over and all week?
Yeah.
Like 3 days in a row, I thought, why do I keep feeling like today's Sunday over? And then Monday and then Tuesday, it was like every day I thought, oh, well, it's Sunday. And I'm like, no, it's not.
No, yeah, me too. I kept thinking it was Sunday.
Okay, that's weird.
Yeah. Yesterday, oh, well, like I say, I don't know if it was yesterday or this morning. I sat outside because we've had beautiful weather in England. I mean, this is incredible. I've got a tan for the first time in years. And of course, because I'm not working, I'm out in the garden. So it's lovely because I can be isolated and in my garden.
Well, there's definitely climate shifts going on too. It's
yeah.
pretty hot.
So I'm sat near the garage and I've got this window into my garage and there's a butterfly trapped in the garage. Now, I could just open the door and hope that it comes out, but my garage at the moment is full. I mean, it is jam-packed full. So I had to climb onto the freezer chest, climb onto the bed that's in there, wedged up, and I could feel myself slipping down the middle as I'm trying to rescue this butterfly. It must have taken me 15 minutes to gently, because it wouldn't sit on my hand, it kept hopping off to the other edge of the window. So I gently got hold of him, opened the window carefully and let him go, and thought, that's my good deed for the day. I just sat down with my cup of tea, and there was another one trapped in the same place. I kept thinking, God, is that the same one? No, it can't be. So 2 butterflies, identical species, trapped in my garage.
That's funny too, because somebody posted this week, I think it was their last week, which I shared, I just shared it. Somebody posted a picture of a butterfly that was half male and half female. Completely different, each wing was different.
Oh, wow.
Completely, it was like I think the only time they'd ever seen that like happen, well, maybe not the only time, but where it actually, one wing was male, one was female. It was very interesting how that whole idea lately of balance, of perfect balance and male and female. Yeah. And then the cat, if you remember too, we talked about the lion and the lion energy. And then I just shared too, Jessica's drawing with the cat, with the big lion on the throne. So I too have been feeling a lot of that lion energy. We talked about the lion and the unicorn as well. The lion's on the on the throne here too. So and you know what's weird, you guys too, and I don't know if I think Ivy, I don't see Ivy here anymore, but she had to go. Hi Ivy, thanks. And it was funny because Ivy had given me a white kitten, and the stories in some of our Wednesday hangouts starting back in June of last year, we talked about the white kitten, and so, but anyway, I just posted his picture. He's made his transition since then, and actually he was the catalyst for me actually moving in with Dave. And so it was very interesting that this week, a couple of days ago, I just happened to be cleaning up pictures on my devices and backing them up and stuff. And I happened to see his picture and decided just to include it in just some pictures that I posted on Facebook. I don't know what it is either. Something about this cat energy, lion, courage, roaring, but there's this quiet strength about them. The Lyran energy, the Lyrans, the lyre, the musical instrument. We talked about that recently. I don't know how all this ties in together, but I feel that it does.
No, well, I thought the two butterflies were significant because
very transformation,
definitely. That's one thing that I thought, because I thought, well, if they'd been in hiding in my garage all winter, it just happened to come out at the same time. But it's you know, transformation from the catalyst cocoon into the beautiful butterfly, which is, I suppose, what we're hoping, what we're going through now with everything that's happening in the world. You know, this being able to have reflection, go within, but at the end of it, if that's what we wish, then we come out into this new beautiful world, or within ourselves, you know, because you can only create for yourself. You can't create for anybody else. You can wish it, you can try and make things better, but at the end of the day, we're working on us, aren't we? It's our experience.
Very good point too, that it's been, you know, that even the whole metaphor that, you know, it's been in the garage all winter, and emerging right now, two of them too. I have to say that that's significant to me, that there's two of them. And this idea of twin, I don't want to say twin flame, but this idea of the balance of female, of male and female, divine feminine and masculine, the idea that there were two butterflies. And of course, we already know that the butterfly is probably one of the main symbols for transformation, because it does literally transform from one type of a being to another. And as I was been reminded many times, and many of us have been, you gotta be in the dark cocoon for a while, or you can't emerge, which you can't make your wings if you're not in the cocoon. It doesn't work. And so we're all being asked that, to be in our cocoon right now. If we could all just look at this, it's such a great metaphor, Beverly, because if we could all just look at this as just our cocoon time. And I know how hard this time is for everybody. I am not minimizing that in any way, shape, or form. We are being asked to be superhuman right now, superhuman, doing things that we've never had to do before, and parents being asked to do things they'd never had to do before, and all of us. And so we're being asked to transform in a way. And I'm even looking at the back of these cards, you know, there's even DNA strands on here, and look, Beverly, butterflies in her hair.
Oh my gosh.
Butterflies. Yeah. Her hair is filled with butterflies.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
Look at the card. You're ready.
I'm ready.
Oh. You're ready.
Because that was the other thing about butterflies, and what people don't realize, the transformation, they just think, oh, it's in a cocoon, and, you know, it goes through this metamorphic process.
And isn't that what we're all doing right now? We're all in.
But it happens at a DNA level, which is what you know, we're being told is happening to us, that we're changing on a DNA level for this new ascension process.
And it is pretty interesting how on an angel cards, there's the earth in her hands. Well, it appears to be an earth. It could be a big crystal, but just all the divine wisdom. She's got the, you know, the butterflies. Then there's the angels, which are holding up a canopy. And then also with the DNA strands on the back. This is the back of the card, actually. So very interesting how even the back of the card on an angel deck would actually refer to DNA. And if you look at, there's the rainbow colors around her. Sorry, I'm not doing a very good job focusing. So the rainbow, so isn't that interesting? So asking for help from others, and you're ready. So Isn't that funny how you're ready? The butterfly, the transformation. So that, I believe, is an answer for all of us then to let us know that we are ready for this transformation. We are ready. And those of you such as Jody Reiki Medium and so many of you who have even in the last week or two said to me, you know, they're ready to take the next step. How can I be of service? And right now we're being asked to go into our little cocoon, and how many people now are going to be reevaluating their jobs, their relationships? I guarantee you many people will not be going back to the same job that they were before.
I don't want to. I really don't want to go back to work.
See?
Because when I'm at work, I'm not me.
Right. And this is what people are discovering. When I'm at work, I'm not me. I'm not authentic. How can I go be authentic and trust that I will have everything I need? I will pay my bills. I will be taken care of. I will have food and everything that I need. And I was reminded about a transformation in my own life recently, that everything I ever knew about what I thought security and all of that stuff, gone. It's like so everything that we think we need. In other words, the message was, what makes you think? My guide said to me, what makes you think if you had what you needed, when you needed it before, what makes you think you won't have that again, that you're not going to have everything you need to do what you need to do, to do what you need to do to take it. So why would I think I would not be taken care of, even if it's not in the same way? And we're all going through this right now. Everybody all over the globe is going through this right now. How everything that I ever thought was my support and my security, gone. Right now, just today, I'm not saying gone, but it's different. It's being altered. We're being asked to see it from a new perspective. And many people, such as yourself, are going, I don't want to go back and do that. I'm not happy. I hated it. This is my excuse to go to do something new. Use this cocoon time, people, to make this your transformation time. Do not squander this time. My guides have said this to me over and over in this last couple of days, is we are, as humans, we're being given the test. Which way are we going to go? Are you going to go the authentic way, or are you going to go back to the inauthentic way? Which way is it going to be? This is our test once again of are you going to go back to status quo and going back to the things that you don't desire, or creating the life that you do? So we're all ready. We're all ready for this. So I appreciate you always coming in and being honest and saying, well, you know, there's all this fluff out there, you guys, but I kind of feel like shit. Like, what's going on? Like, and so this is why we do this too. It's not about just dressing up and pretending everything's okay. And that's not what this is about at all. It's about being authentic. It's about being ourselves. It's about when we're dressing up, doing these things, or speaking light languages, reading these cards, sharing our day-to-day lives with you and us and you with us. That's being authentic. So she turns the light on. Hello. So is there anything that you wanted to add to that, Beverly, before we close out? We're getting a little bit long on time, so I don't want to keep anybody too much longer, so we can close out. So is there anything else that you'd like to?
No, I just wanted to share that with you.
And oh, Dolores is there. Hi, Dolores. Good to see you, girl. Hope we miss you. Hope you can come back into and share your light languages with us again. Again, you guys, the post is the link to come in the Zoom room. I posted in the comments on every week now. I posted in the live comments and the general comments in the YouTube itself. So you can find the link on my YouTube page, on my website. There's a page itself called Goddess Fridays, and the link to the Zoom rooms right there. So you can just pop right in. So, and then there's also automatic links to the previous Goddess Fridays, and then links to the up and coming ones too. So you guys can set your reminders and things like that. So as I publish them publicly, then they'll show up. So I wanted to add that as well. So hey, Dolores, I've been thinking about you. I just wanted to say hi. Lisa says authenticity can be very challenging. And I will say to all of you that that has been from the day I started this channel, being authentic has been probably the most challenging of my journey ever. And then personally leaving a lifelong, literally lifelong, pretty much relationship, taking a leap of faith, literally, with someone I met once. Once, guys, I met him once in person. And
Oh, it was more than one day.
well, I mean, one weekend, I guess.
But it was at the beach.
But it was at the beach in Florida. Under the full moon, I might add. But yet, even then, you know, we parted as friends, and yet the seed was planted. And there's more information I wanted to, not today because we're long on time, but there is more information that I wanted to elaborate on in the days and maybe webinars to come about something Gracie talked about we're all home now. And I even said to Dave, and many of us, well, I'm going to say starting back in, when did I first receive the information? Oh, was it spring? The spring equinox? The children being born. It was sometime around that time I received an interesting message about the children that are going to, about the children being born, but they were specifically referring to children being born on 11/11 of this year. The date 11/11, which I'm going to, now that I've said it, I guess I'm going to be talking about it sooner than later. But something that Grace said too about that, about children being born, because a lot of people are home right now. So there's going to be a lot of children being born over the next 9 months. So because people got, you know, a lot of time on their hands. And so we were joking about that a little bit, but seriously, I had received a very, very specific information about children being born, not only on that day, 11/11, and some information I received about that day, but also in the months to come. And also, which also actually had to do with Elijah and even that, his presence at circumcisions for Jewish male children. And so there was a lot of information that had been coming through about that idea of children and seeds and blessings and the children that are going to be being born in this year of 2020. And so there's a lot of information that I've been receiving about all of this that I guess has been maybe kind of, you know, just floating in there in the vortex, waiting for me to share. So as those of you who share these things with me and these, as Grace mentioned, synchronistically about babies being born, that was my kind of nudge from my guides to say, yeah, it's time to start talking a little bit more about that as well, because there's information that even I haven't gotten yet that I think I'm supposed to be sharing, but so interesting that she said that. So there's been a lot of that energy around as well. So thank you for sharing that. This is how we reflect to each other, information that needs to be shared. And so that's why Dave and I always encourage not only each other, but all of you to share everything, share things that come to your mind, even if it seems, and sometimes I have to be honest, I've said to him that sometimes I don't share things because I feel like they're high, lower vibration, they're maybe non-empowering thoughts, but how can we alter that frequency? Sometimes it is by sharing them, even if we consider it a less than empowering thought, or maybe that it's something that we feel maybe bad or guilty about, or something that we don't understand or shouldn't be feeling. And by sharing it, it illuminates it. It helps us identify what belief systems maybe that are less empowering, that may be tied to that belief or thought, and how we can release that and move on from there and create a new reality. So sharing things with all of you and you sharing them with us is ways that we can connect with our multidimensionality, as well as receiving. I receive information and messages from
you guys sharing this stuff and Dave sharing it with me. I get, just like the other day when you said it about Earth, it was like I got this whole thing download from her, all because he said, well, Earth is going through her own ascension as well. So things like that.
Well, I also just want to mention that you might wonder what's important about now, because everything is now. Well, what's important about this now? And there's mention of children and children being born in the coming months.
Yes.
Well, one thing that could be important about now is we're given the opportunity to really look at inside ourselves. What do we really want? How do we want things to really be? How do we want things for us to be personally, but also collectively, because children are coming. How do we want it for them? Because we are now given the opportunity to build a future for the way the new children are going to be living in. So how do we want schooling to work?
Exactly.
Because the schooling,
that's a big deal
is
right
upside
now.
down
Right now, it's a big deal.
We have options. How do we want things to be in the future? Do we want to just have everything to go back the way it was, or do we want to take this opportunity to wish for better things? So now is a good time to reflect on the way things were and the way things maybe we want them to be, and start wishing for those things to be how we want them. Because almost everything that we're seeing around us is showing us options for change. So how do we want them? Do we want to just, have this all go away and have it all go back to the way it was? I'm pretty sure most of the people that would be watching this video would say
no way. No
So-
way.
I just had Michael Jackson song come in my head. We Are the World.
Yep.
He's been around me with his songs like all week.
He's been around a lot of us. It's funny you said that, Beverly, because a couple of days ago, I've been feeling his energy a lot, and somebody else shared, I think, that very same song. I think they shared the same song. And he was singing it. So he comes to a lot of us. My friend Alicia, Temple Beautiful. Many of us have deep connections to these people. They're our soul family. Why wouldn't we? I'm also very connected to Princess Diana. It's about the frequency of their light, their energy, their love, their compassion, their acceptance.
Everything you were saying, Dave, everything you were saying, it was just tying in with that record. It just was there in my ears. It was just like,
that's why I like you to share that, because otherwise I would be afraid to share with you guys. Oh yeah, well, I talk to Michael Jackson all the time because people would think you're crazy if you say something like that. But I'm telling you, why wouldn't you? He's a person. He was a human. He was a soul. He has a soul family. Why wouldn't we be connected to him? We're connected to everything, you guys. It just depends on which degrees and where and when and how and what do you want to collect from that moment. So thank you for sharing that, because this is not crazy. We are. He comes to me all the time. And many times one of his songs will come on the radio just exactly when I needed to. And I know he's here with me. He's talking to us. He's watching. He wanted a better world also.
Well, and regardless of what you might think about him or some of the things that he might have been involved with, he's always said it's always about the children.
He did say that.
Yeah.
That is true. It's always about the children. And this has been ever since I started light languages, ever since I started understanding more about this. I've said this many times, it's about the children. And more and more in this last year, and since meeting Dave and all of these things that I've been guided to do, it's like stepping up now. We're like, it's about the children. It's about the next wave. It's about, and this whole situation, just like Dave said, the whole education system is upside down now. We're all going to figure out better ways to do everything, working, just as Bashar said, smarter, not harder. We're going to be able to get more done in less time. But allow ourselves this cocoon time. Allow yourselves to have this time to reflect,
transform, be in your little cocoon. I love that the weather's nice for you guys out there, Beverly, that you guys can get out in the garden. I think that's very important. We just talked about a video I did not too long ago. Soil is sentient. Get your fingers in the soil if you guys can. It has messages, it has information. There's so much more I could get into that, but I can't because we'll just be here another 4 hours. So, but that's why I wanted to thank you for sharing that. Keep an eye out, you guys, on postings on my website for different events coming up. We'll be posting stuff coming up. And then if I do special stuff, like when I do the hangout with Jody, you know, I'll let you guys all know when it's going to be, and any other hangouts that we do. And a lot of times too, keep an eye out too. If you don't subscribe to the channel, you know, to the YouTube channel, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and so you can see stuff popping up when it's coming up, and look for stuff on, you know, social media and stuff. But primarily to keep an eye on the website, as Dave's been updating things and adding things, and as we do events, we'll let you guys know. So, and again, you know, we want to make finding the link easy to hop in, to be able to join us, without actually posting the Zoom link everywhere. I just wanted to put the Zoom link to the room in one spot and then tell everybody where to go find it. So it's just easier that way than posting it everywhere. So, and then it also gives you the opportunity, if you're new to my channel, you can take a look at my website and see a little bit about my story, how I started all this, about light languages and about my symbols and things that I draw. Just some pictures that I post, and we are going to be getting better about adding things and new content. And so as I go along, and I thank you all for your love and your support and your kindness, and all of the things that you do for me, your private sessions, the way you reach out to me, the gifts that I receive. It just means more to me than I can ever tell you. And I'm excited. This is the first time in my life. I've had my channel now for 5 years, since January. And this is the first time that I've ever done webinars and videos with somebody in my physical space, together and talking together, looking at each other and sharing our collective experiences, as in mine, together. And so this is all new for me too, you guys. This is, I mean, if you watched my videos up until, well, just recently, I was in them primarily, it was just me or doing hangouts. So this is all new for me as well, and learning about this and exploring. I want to end this by saying exploring a relationship that where we're recognizing everything is possible, that when and to be with someone, to not settle for anything less than, I don't know, what do I want to say? How do I want to say that better?
Anything second best.
Not settling for anything, wanting everything.
Yes, and trusting that if you guys are authentic and you're being yourself and you're putting yourself out there. Again, I will mention to those of you who are new to my channel, I wouldn't have met all of you. I wouldn't have met Dave. I wouldn't have found what I found in my life and my journey had I not put myself out there on YouTube. I mean, that it was as simple as that. It's like a call. It's a call to say, where's my family? I'm here. Come and find me. You know, and I've never been one to be big on sharing my stuff on social media. I have always felt that I will put myself out there where and how, and you know what, whoever is part of my soul family, our soul family, if we're supposed to be together, if our journey is supposed to cross, then we will. And it's not about how many people are watching. It's not about how many places you can post your stuff. It's about being authentic. And as my guides told me that very day when I said, I can't be on public, I can't be on YouTube in the public, they said, not about you. All we want you to do is speak light languages to Gaia and the sun, and we'll take it from there. We'll guide you as to what to do next and how to share the information and what to say and just allow, just be open, be receptive, and trust that the information that you're hearing is real and true, and let the rest unfold. And it was about a year late. It took a whole year before my face was on camera speaking light languages to the public on my channel. I had done it in a couple other places, but on my channel. So all of this is new for me as well. This is a whole new step for me in authenticity and recognizing who I am, and having someone in my life who helps me do that, who helps recognize who I am, who reminds me of the goddess that I am every day, that the I don't know, the importance just of being just open and I don't know. I feel like all the words are just not like none of them, they all pale in comparison to what I want to say, which is why I love light languages, because it kind of says what we want to say without mushing it, without mixing it up with our own filtered words. So yeah.
I've got a question for Dave. Dave.
Yeah.
Stop it, you two.
This is the first time he's ever spoken light languages to me directly on camera, you guys. See?
That's what I was gonna. The other day, Dave, you did a session, didn't you? Yeah, because I watched it and I thought, now are you doing light language? Because it wasn't very loud. I couldn't quite hear.
Well, he knows that he's a little quiet. So let me tell you guys what happened. So we were going to do a light language video. He was going to videotape. He was going to record me in front of the full moon. And yes. So it was like, I came outside. He's like, okay, let's do this. And I'm like, wait a second. I said, just give me a minute. So I was like, I had a couple sips of my tea and I was sitting there. Well, I came back in the house. Well, in the 30 seconds that I came in the house and went, he's like, never mind, I already made a video. I'm like, what? You made a video? He's like, I was like, and it was on my phone. So I uploaded it immediately. I'm like, that was his first actual by myself light language video that he actually spoke. So yeah, you might need to put on headphones or turn up the volume.
Yeah, I didn't have my headphones, so I was trying to listen. I thought, speaking light language? I'm sure he is. So it was lovely. It was lovely.
I had my phone. I had Wendy's phone, which I never used before, doing a video because it's a different phone than she used to have, an older phone. And I was framing where I wanted her to be, and she wasn't showing up. And you know, the time was then that it had to be done, and it just so light languages just started happening, and I recorded it, and I might have been.
That wasn't your first time, though. Not your first time.
Not speaking light language.
No, but it's the first time he's ever spoken light languages and by himself and made a video, and I actually uploaded it. Yeah. And he,
it was lovely. It was lovely. Just needed to be a bit louder.
And he really doesn't speak light languages to anybody out loud except for me. So I asked him the other day, I said, I'd like to do at least a video where we're actually speaking light languages to each other and make a video. And so I guess there we have it. So that was the first time we've actually ever kind of done that.
But again, that's really interesting that you two meet and you can both speak light language. The thing is, do you understand one another?
Not really. I mean, there's a feel. Yes, we do. I shouldn't say we don't, but it's not the words necessarily. Although I will tell you many times, you guys, in all seriousness, which we're going to talk about a lot later on in future stuff, but when we're speaking light languages together, I see stuff, like I see visions, I get information, I am taken to other realities. I see him and I in other parallel realities.
all different kinds of parallel realities. So it's a whole different experience, which is a whole other thing we want to talk about later, is speaking light languages together and to each other and to another person face to face is a whole nother thing. It's a very different experience. And it has literally taking me places like to other realms and realities and seeing other realities in which he and I exist. And with the weird part about it is I have had dreams like for years, and dreams I've had like say 10, 20 years ago that I remember frequently, but all of a sudden it's like the puzzle piece, like all of a sudden the people weren't clear, and all of a sudden the people become clear, like you guys are there. And all of a sudden I'm realizing he's there. He's in every one of those dreams, but I didn't realize it until now. It was like face wasn't visible or something. It was strange. It's been very strange. So that all of that has to do too with speaking light languages together to each other, which is a whole nother realm and alchemy that we haven't even talked about and explored yet, that he and I've talked about, that we want to explore with people.
Definitely, yeah.
It's an extraordinary experience. I got to tell you guys, it's very weird.
We're not even sure how to approach it.
Not even sure how to approach it. That's the whole thing. It's like we still got to talk about how we even want to talk about it because it's so bizarre. But
I'm excited. It's not even happening to me. I'm just excited that it's happening for you, you know, because obviously this was part of the plan.
Yes, and that's why we want people to get excited about it, because the fact that it excites you, the best part about that is because it excites you guys, then you go out into the world excited about it. Well, that's how you meet other people who speak light languages, or you meet that person who's more authentic, or even just friends. I'm not even talking about lovers or partners or, but even just people, friends, people to talk to. You emit this new frequency, and then you receive that, and then you're going to find people all around you who speak light languages. Beverly, I know tons of people in the UK that speak light languages and do this work that we do, and they're all around you.
I just haven't found them yet,
Other
than Beck.
And this is why I want to put that out there to you guys too. What the countries that you're in. When we have these hangouts, we've got people from Ireland, England, the United States, Croatia, Italy, Portugal, Spain. So these are fires that are being light languages you guys are illuminating these portals all over the world. And so you will find them, because that's why you're here in these hangouts, so that we can tell everybody Beverly lives in the UK. And you guys, when you're hanging out in these YouTube chats, find each other, talk to each other, tell each other where you're from. I'm so excited that I get to meet people. That's how I met Bree for the first time, because I was on YouTube and she's like, I said, and I just happened to mention, oh, I live north of Chicago. She's like, what? I live in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. We lived an hour away from each other. Didn't even know it. So, and look at us now, how we're lifelong friends. So I have met people from all over the world now that I can say, if I knock on their door, they can come and knock on my door. My door is open to.
Yeah, well, that's how I feel as well.
And so that's how
I'm nowhere near London. People would be disappointed, you know.
Well, not
in the middle of nowhere.
Not necessarily, because maybe people who are in London want to be out in the nature. So look each other up, find each other, connect with each other outside of these hangouts. But this is one of the biggest reasons why we do these too, is we want you guys to come and hang out with us, share your stuff, share your stories, share your relics, share your, you don't have to dress up. We would love you to. It's more fun. Even if it's just a hat, a bandana, a necklace, tell me about your grandma's necklace, whatever. The point is, bring your oracle cards. It's about sharing and connecting with each other. So keep an eye out for future stuff. Watch for Jody and I. We're going to be doing something here real soon. So we don't even have a format. We're just going to be together, and whatever happens simultaneously or spontaneously is what happens. We're going to send out Reiki and do some light languages and talk about some crystals, and wherever the spirit takes us and moves us. So I love that. I love spontaneity. If you guys want to be on my channel, if you want to do a special show outside of Fridays, let me know. I love doing this stuff. We can always rearrange our schedules and make time to do this stuff. And even if Dave doesn't want to do it, he doesn't have to.
but he likes doing this stuff too, or even just observing and watching while I do it too. So, but yeah, that's what this is about. It's about community. It's about the wolf pack. It's about being together. That was the name I was born with, Wendy Wolf, and that is the name that I am. And so I feel that way, like I'm bringing all of us together. We're bringing our soul family together, and by all of us sharing ourselves, our authenticity, our light languages, even in the ways that we can do it today, right now. And if you can't be out there, again, ask Elijah to come in, ask your angels to come in, and ask me if you guys need me, you want me to bring you messages, I'm here, we're here. So it's about togetherness. It's about unity, our unity tea today, unity. Cheers, everyone.
Wendy, I've just got one little
go ahead.
question. You just reminded me, the name. I've been doing a little bit of studying on numerology.
Okay.
And so I was working out my own name. What happens though if you are born with one name, but then you adopted another name?
Well, it's interesting that you say that, because a lot of people who get married, such as myself, they take on your partner's name. Women often will change things, or they will give up their name. Well, it's interesting because when I first started waking up and I started doing my light language channel and stuff, I was born under the name Wendy Wolf, but that was not my name at the time, because I was living under my married name, my pseudonym, you know. And so, but yet I always felt, now one thing I didn't do, which I kind of wish I would have at the time, was kept my maiden name and added it to my married name, which I didn't at the time, for tradition reasons. But nonetheless, when I started waking up and I started sharing this information with the world, or I wanted to, I had a private session with James Charles. You guys can look him up from Human Colony. I've actually been wanting to invite him here to the Hangouts, because his higher self is Elijah. He channels Elijah. You can see him on the Saturday morning webinar. I'm still a founding member of Human Colony. That's kind of where I started speaking light languages. And so, he said, I was trying to think where I wanted to go with this. Ask me your question again.
If you are born with one name, but
okay, so I asked the entity he was channeling, and the entity said to me, I said, I want to start this light language channel. I want to go out into the world. I said, so what name should I use? And the entity was a little confused, because one, they don't really go by names and stuff like that. But so I had to kind of rephrase my question. So I rephrased my question, and I explained how we change our names sometimes, and how, you know, and I understand that a name has vibration. The letters, as you just mentioned, are numeric. There's numeric equivalents, which have vibrations, numeric, and so forth. So nonetheless, the answer I was given by the entity, which I'm sorry, don't remember who he was channeling at the time. And they said to me, start it under the name in which you resonate with the most, and use the name in which you wish to be identified with, and because there will be those who will know your name. There will be those who will know your name. And that it was important for me to make a decision at that point. And so I went out into the world, into my spiritual world as Wendy Wolf. That was the name I was born with.
Yeah.
It was not in any way dishonoring, you know, the situation, but
No.
it's what I was guided to do. Now, I will say to you guys that, in all honesty, just in the last couple of weeks, well, I am now divorced. So I no longer have that married name. I am now officially Wendy Wolf again.
Yeah.
Now do you see why one of the reasons I was probably guided to go out into the world with that name, because that is the name people would identify me with. Well, here I am. That is the name I was born with, and that is the name that I have now returned to, if you will. So you will see other people in the spiritual world also who are adopting new names. For example, they wake up or have a meditation, an epiphany, if you will, and they'll say, my guide said to me, this is now my new name. Then use it, because that's what your guides are telling you is your vibration, your current vibration. So when you're going out in the world or whatever, or using names, yes, absolutely. It has a name, it has a vibration, it has a numeric equivalent, it means something. So very interesting that you even asked the question, because this has been a big deal for me, this whole name thing. Plus this whole name thing's been a big deal for me and my family long time ago. I mean, not a long time ago, but for a variety of reasons, which I don't need to get into, but it's this whole name thing has been a source of contention because it's identified. It's an identification. It's a label.
Yeah.
And so it's our label to say to the world, this is who we are. This is what I am. This is what my vibration is. So yes, it makes a difference. How does that answer your question, or does it answer your question? But does that?
Well, yeah, it does. It does. I mean, the difference between how you've identified it with yourself and myself is that as a baby, I was born with a name, and then as my mum moved on to a new partner, new husband,
Yes,
I took on her husband's name, but
correct.
It resonates with me. My original name that I was born with doesn't, because I never grew up with that.
And that's okay too then. Then that means that is the name that you have chosen to resonate with. And there is nothing wrong with it. Even if it wasn't the name you were born with, it's the name you have come to feel comfortable with, then that is what you should use.
And I'll tell you something, the numbers were not favorable.
With the name you're using now?
Yeah. In a funny way, they were me to a T. But you know, when you're hoping for something a lot better and bigger, and it's like, you know, and I threw a bit of a strop with myself.
Well, there's a little bit of lesson in self-acceptance.
Yeah.
Something I found out about astrology. It's an interesting thing. When you look at the astrology readings with your birth information and stuff like that, and you read about your signs and the planets and all that other stuff, some of the things might show challenges that you have, or let's say negative traits that might be associated with certain planets being aligned in certain places. That doesn't mean that you have those traits. It might mean that you've achieved getting over those traits and have succeeded in those traits no longer affecting you anymore. And you should sort of use that same idea in when you do numerology on your name, for instance, and you might see some things that you think, well, that can't be any good. You know, that it does describe me, but maybe it describes you because your instinct is to be a certain way, but you're not that way anymore. So those things are pointers and hints of things that you chose to improve upon. So even the things that seem negative, try to look at it in a more positive light, because you might find out, well, you know, this says I'm a messy person. And you might say, yeah, I am pretty messy, but I figured out how not to be so messy. And, you know, maybe I'm messy, but only in a little tiny spot of the house.
I'm not saying a word. I'm not saying a word. I'm messy. So I'm laughing because it's not uncommon to find little dribbles of coffee here and there, because I'm just, I don't want to be that way. I don't. It just, so that's why I'm laughing about that, because of the little thing, because I say it all the time. I don't like that about myself. I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to do that anymore. And I'm like, why do I make so much of a mess for myself that I got to clean it up? Why can't I just be neat to begin with, so I don't have to make all this work for myself to clean it up? Even when I cook, my God, I can't make anything, and it's everywhere. I'm like, what is wrong with me?
Well,
That's my son. My son's like that.
Ranger always,
he's always looking.
Whenever Wendy's in the kitchen, he always is expecting food to be all over, and it's not anymore.
Right? He's like, oh,
he's
well,
like, what's going on?
He's like, she's not even dropping anything, and he looks around my chair at dinner table, and he's like, wow, she's got nothing. So maybe I am getting better, and I just don't realize it.
So there you have it. Your wish come true.
You know, I have to say something funny about that, though, you guys, in that because someone accepts me the way that I am, it's kind of funny how once we accept something about ourselves, or once I'm shown acceptance instead of being badgered about it or teased about it. Badgered's not a good word, but teased maybe. And it's almost as if I begin to do it less, because it's like I'm accepting that's who I am and that's myself. But once I accept it, then I can change it. It's like when you don't accept it, you're constantly in resistance of it. And so it's like, I keep doing it. So maybe that's why I'm doing it less, because you're teaching me you accept me the way that I am, and teaching me to accept myself. And then I just don't do it as much anymore, maybe, huh?
Maybe.
I don't know the answers, you guys. I don't know.
Follow you around with
Thank you.
He just follows me with a mop.
No,
He doesn't. He really doesn't. I think he cares less about my messes than I do, honestly, which is sweet.
But I'm messy too.
And that's all. See what I mean? See.
You've never seen mess. You've never seen mess. I'll send my son to spend some time with you.
Oh, I've seen
Let
that.
him.
No. Hey, you have to remember, well, just maybe you don't know, but I did raise 2 boys, so I know all about it. I know all about it. Well, thank you, Beverly, for your always your love and your light and your contribution and your authenticity. I love that you're yourself and you say what's on your mind, and you don't need to feel like you need to come and pretend to be all, happy dappy and things that you're not.
Look at me. Look, I am what I am.
And that's what I love about you, because I am what I am. And I laugh about that all the time, because he's got this Popeye look to him a lot. I am, and he always said that I am what I am. Popeye the Sailor Man. I am what I am.
So maybe, Beverly, next time you go to the grocery or the whatever store near you, when you see the vegetables and the other foods, maybe you should be speaking light languages to them and not worry about what other people are going to say, because number one, they're either going to run away, which is just fine,
That's okay,
because then you have the whole aisle to yourself, or they might say, what is it that you're speaking? I want to know. I speak something similar to that, or I know somebody that does, and you never know. So by being authentic, you follow through with those intuitive ideas that you have, and not care about what the results might be, and not be concerned about what other people might think. And something as simple as walking through the grocery store and saying light language, there are other people around. You never know who might show up,
And I do it now, and I don't care anymore. I speak it out loud. I don't care anymore. And even when I do go to the grocery store, even when I wasn't speaking it out loud, I speak it to the veggies and the people, and and they don't know it, but and whatever's supposed to reach them will reach them. It can't hurt. Let's just put it this way. You can never send somebody more healing or something that they don't want or can't receive. If any part of them is receptive, then you are receiving the signal to send it. So it's okay. People talk about that all the time about, well, can I send healing? And of course you can. We can send healing to the planet. We can send healing to people. They will only receive exactly what they need and how they need it. You never have to worry about that. So a lot of times we talk about, do I need permission? Their higher selves, and this is just in my experience and my perception, my perspective, that if I'm receiving the guidance to send them something, I believe I'm receiving a message from their higher self saying they need me. They need something. And so if I look at it that way, I just send whatever it is. And I just ask whatever it is that they need to receive. And it is not my business after that, what happens. And so I know that, again, if any of us are being guided to do anything, even if it's saying hello to somebody, there is a reason for it there. And so go with the guidance. And that goes with all of us right now. We're afraid to even talk to each other now. And people are even walking around outside, with masks on. And so, I think that we're realizing that, one, yes, we can communicate with our eyes and our love and our compassion, but we're also realizing energy, there's no boundaries. There's no boundaries to love and energy and an intention. And that changes everything, you guys. It does. It changes everything. You never have to leave your home to ascend. You don't have to leave your home to make a difference. As Bashar has said many times, channeled by Daryl Anka, you will never, ever have more impact than you do now. What happens is you discover how much impact you already have. So go discover how much impact you already have on the world, on everything, on each other. And you will see magic unfold before you. I have been not only a maker of magic, but a recipient of magic, and especially since last August 25th. So
me too.
Can't explain it, you guys. I can't explain it. And I am blessed beyond measure, and to be told every day how lucky he is. He says that to me, how lucky he is every day. So, and I feel that way too. And I feel very lucky to have all of you, and that all of you are a part of my life, and that I get to experience something I never thought I would, or could. And we talk about that all the time, that our hearts have been calling out to each other forever. So, but it wasn't until you guys, until we were both authentic in our own selves, in our own right, had nothing to do with each other. It wasn't until we went out in the world to be our authentic that we were able to even find each other. So I think that's probably one of the most important things that we want to set the example for, is just being you, is even if you don't know what that is moment by moment, because we unravel stuff every day and that we didn't know we were, it's not like, so anyway, I could talk about that a lot, but I think that's enough for today. Thank you, Beverly and Jessica and Jody. Does anybody have anything else they'd like to share before we go off the air? Just want to give everybody a moment there to pause. And I wanted to just go ahead and unmute yourselves if you'd like to say anything. And I want to remind everybody too, that one of the reasons we have these hangouts is, if there's time permittable, I stay in the hangout after we go off live and just chit chat, hang out. But it also gives you guys the opportunity to interact with each other. And a lot of times Dave and I leave. We leave the hangout. I make somebody else the host of the Zoom room, and you guys sit and hang out with each other, and we go off and do our thing. So the room's still open afterward. We call it our little after party if that's something you guys want to do. So it's something that, you know, if you're interested in, but I think today it's been really long on time. So I'm actually going to go. So we're going to go, but I just want to throw that out there too, that this also gives the opportunity, these hangouts, that once we go off the air, that if you guys have private personal questions you'd like to ask me, or set up a time together, or things to ask, if you'd like to ask Dave, or Dave and I together, or chat with each other together. That's one of the things we like about doing these hangouts, is it gives you guys the opportunity to meet each other and then go off and create new alchemy and relationships outside of all of this. And so that's another thing I love about these hangouts. So Monica, thank you. I've been watching your chat out there. I'm really looking forward to interacting with all of you. And Jody, thank you so much for being with us today. Whispering Teams, no way. Where is she? Oh my God, Christina, I have been thinking about you and thinking about you and thinking about you. I've been wondering where you have been. I didn't know if you've been in New Zealand. Have you been in Canada? Where you been? I am so happy to see you. Oh my God. There she is. I can't believe it. Well, that's okay. I see you won't come on camera today because she has company, but now you know where we are. Come in, hang out with us on Fridays, even if it's in the chat. I miss you. I love you. I'm so happy to see you. I cannot tell you. I've been thinking about you. And it was really funny because I saw some of your old comments on some of my old videos. And I was even like hearting them and thumbs upping them, and just to let you know, in case you saw them, that I was thinking about you. So every now and then somebody will comment on some of my really old videos. And so I'll see some of the people that have been on my journey for a while. And so Whispering Teams just happens to be one of them. Her name is Christina. And I'm just so excited to see her out there. So it's been such a long time since we've interacted. It's really great to see you. And so thanks for putting the shout out. Yay, there she is. Yeah, so see, there's another thing good. New Zealand. So see, we're all over the world. So we're here to find each other. I'm so excited. And if it wasn't for my YouTube channel, I wouldn't have met Christina either. So with that said, I love you guys so much. I'm so happy to see you there. Thanks to all of you who are stuck it out all of this time. And for all of you who watch, who join, participate, even if you can't watch the whole thing or split it up, we love you for watching and being with us. Please do share with us on Fridays at any time. And watch for our videos. Yes, Christina, lots of things to catch up with you about. Lots of changes have happened in my life in the last, just the last few months. So lots of things to tell you about if you haven't been around a little bit. So love you, girl, love you guys. Is there anything you'd like to say or close out with, my dear?
Happy Goddess Friday.
Happy Goddess Friday, happy Easter, happy Passover. And may your angels always, may you know that your angels and guides are always with you. Thank you. Thank you for being my guide, and thank you for joining my journey. And always remember, the word journey begins and ends with the word joy. You are meant to be here in joy. La sea toshe la hina la kotarvesho so se sementore ila kiato amo foshana se la viana ala koreshe la sianotore mahayasho iatariana ma evakose lishe netela seta de kiano ma kesha so salite la letea nakia. I love you. Mahala. Namaste. Love you guys. See you next week. And for all of our other events.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. Okay, now I'm going to take us off the air. Hang on. Nisatia shonotoveshete ela kese tiana da kilaso sete kiara she tiana.